name, change the name. What do we call this? Investing into extinction. Which I really have nothing to talk about today. Which is why I always go to default to robots. Let's just default to the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. And hang on, wait. That's kind of my of the world. It's kind of my go-to. As end of the world's bad idea. Actually, well, I don't know. End of the world probably is a good idea. What is this? That's weird. Oh, okay. That's the last title. Let's take that down. Jonestown Survivor. Okay, we did that last time. No description. Save. All right. Happy Monday. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning. The robots are coming. You're not going to stop them. We talked about it last time. We were looking at Boston. I don't know why it's any surprise to anybody that Boston is using a robotic dog. Of course they're going to use a robotic dog. It's a requirement. You have to use a robot dog if you are a government. If you're a government, your goal is to police your people as efficiently as possible and to win wars quickly as possible. That's what they're always going to do. You're not going to stop that. So, hang on, let me post this. In the real world, where power and money run everything, because we can't seem to say no to this, we need to figure out, or we need to stop investing consent in human extinction, finding our sentience. Go to stop here on Facebook. In human extinction, finding our sentience. Hopefully everybody had a good week. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. I didn't look at the news at all, so there probably is a whole bunch of stuff out there to look at. How y'all doing? Family good? How your mama doing? Mama good? Mama good? Hi Mama Dern. Hi Grandmama Dern. Hi Daddy Dern. Grandpapa Dern. How the kids Dern? Everybody Dern good? Okay. That's a good thing to hear. All right. Let me turn around. I post this on Facebook. Oh, goodness gracious. I didn't post too much this weekend. We're gonna have a whole lot to talk about. That's not true. I always got a lot of stuff to talk about. Investing, consent, and extinction. We need to stop investing our consent. We invest in it over and over and over and over and over and over. Whether it's voting, banking. Oh, we talked about banking this weekend. It was fun. We were talking about the Federal Reserve, and people still don't have no idea how that works. And it's just like, man, you really shouldn't say anything. Not a word should come out of your mouth in terms of power and control on this planet. Politics or anything important. Do you understand how central banking works? Do you understand how central banking works? How those guys have been after nations from the very beginning. Until you figure out how that works, you really shouldn't say a whole lot. Good morning. Let me have the volumes right. Who is it? Hillary, good morning. Welcome back on Facebook Prison. Anthony? Oh, am I back? I didn't think I was back. Am I back? I don't think I pressed the button, Anthony. I don't think I'm I think I'm still banned. No, I can press the button. No, I didn't even try to press the button. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty doggy. Oh, you pressed the link on Facebook, probably came over to YouTube. No, I'm banned on Facebook. Yeah, no, I just hit the button. That's it. Critical start failed. Yes, it is a critical start failed. I talk about peace and human rights. Take care of people. Don't murder people. War is bad. It's not bad-ish. It's just not bad when certain people want it. The police state is bad, Anthony. As long as I talk those things, you're not, you're going to get shut down on the different platforms. So, but it's okay. It's good. Like I told everybody, it's a good thing. You always need to know who you're dealing with. You got to know who you're dealing with. If you don't know who you're dealing with, you're a fool. It's never a bad thing when you find out who people are. Who corporations are, what social media is, who it works for. It's never a bad thing when you find out, what was it? All the people that they had to kill to keep the JFK killing a secret. Did y'all know that? Well, that was on RT. They were talking about, what's her name? Not Mary Leakey. Mary Leakey is the one who found the human footprint next to the dinosaur footprint. And then they banned her from archaeology. She's not even allowed to write a book. sniff a crack of rock or dust off anything anymore. They threw her out. Humans aren't that old. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we've been here for millions of years. Not Mary Leakey. But that's related to the Federal Reserve and control and convincing people we're only 3,000 years old and all human history began with your God. Oh, I got in trouble for that this weekend. I was talking about the gods. I think there are gods, a whole bunch of little g gods, starting from leaders to political parties to leaders of movements and activists up to aliens, all the way up to big G God, a universal God. Because I'm trying to discover that. I'm not convinced that people who handed me this stuff knew what the hell they were talking about. So what we're talking about this week? We're talking about big G God. What would a big G God be interested in? And when you start looking at all the different religion scriptures, what does creators of universes find significant? And your bank account's not one of them. It's just not one of them. I don't know. I think it was worship or something they were talking about. Just like I don't think that something that creates universes is worried about some digits in a server in your bank account. I don't think it is. I don't think your God will leave or forsake you. I just don't think that it's focused on who the president is. I don't think it really gives two damns who the prime minister is. I don't think that's significant while you're out there making planetary bodies or something. So yeah, I got in trouble for that over the weekend. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, Susan. Oh, did I spend any time on archaeology this weekend? Nope. But we were looking at the, who was that? Sister Pat and I, Susan, we were looking at, was it Mount Sinai, the real Mount Sinai, where the Egyptian temple was, where Moses went up there and got the 10 Commandments from the Egyptian temple and got the monatomic gold, the white powder. So we were looking at that. That video got pulled down. Yeah, they don't like people talking about that nonsense. But there was a discovery in the Grand Canyon. Susan, you probably know about this, where they found the Egyptian hieroglyphs in a cave in the Grand Canyon. If I remember the story right, it's a long time ago. I remember hearing about it. But Sister Pat sent me something on it. And, well, I guess there were rafters or whatever, and they climbed halfway up from the river that goes through the Grand Canyon. And they found some big cave. They went in there and apparently found a whole bunch of hieroglyphs and things. But in addition to that, of course, as the story goes anyway, they called the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian, they with the Federal Reserve or whoever they work with, they grabbed everything and they put it in the vaults, and they banned rafters from going to that portion of the river for, I guess, I don't know how long, until the cave was just like looted. But the original guy who went in there, in his testimony or his interview, he said that there was all the Egyptian stuff, but there was white powder. We were looking at that this weekend. I don't know that it's the same white powder that was on the real Mount Sinai, but it was pretty deep. It was interesting. But it was a long time ago I first heard about that they found Egyptian hieroglyphs in America. And to me, it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch at all. When you start to look at, we come from great civilizations we know nothing about. And don't take me to the aliens. I don't want to go to aliens. Aliens is a great answer. I love it. It's fun. It's delicious. Most people still don't believe in them. So I like to throw it out there just to kind of, give people. But I think the answers most times aren't aliens. Just we come from great civilizations that did things that we barely even figure out how to do this civilization. And so the easy answer is, it's aliens. In reality, just human civilization after civilization after civilization has been destroyed, dismantled, blown up, run amok. And aliens is the easy answer because we don't understand things, so we go to aliens. And I don't think it's aliens. I think most of it's just humans. I think it's humans that we don't understand. I think Atlantis was a place. Why? Because not your government. I believe Atlantis was a place because Plato said it. The Egyptian priest said it. Solon said it. And I think Atlantis was a real place. And when Atlantis was destroyed, those people spread all over the planet. And there's evidence of that all over the planet in terms of the pyramid structures, how they built the stone, the metals, and I won't get too deep into that. But we come from great people and civilizations that have been lost time after time after time for the same reason. And this kind of fits with the topic, investing in our invest in consent in the next extinction of our civilization, if not our species, developing, organizations that require power to exist. Their basis is power, like government. Putting them in bed with corporations and their basis is money. You put the two together, you got an extinction waiting to happen, whether it's your civilization or your species. And that was the only reason we even know Atlantis is a place. The only reason the Egyptian priests told Solomon about it is because the Atlanteans had lost their common damn sense. They lost all sense of themselves. But the funny thing is they lost sense of themselves with their government, which is why Plato talked about government a lot with Aristotle and Socrates. If you continue to give all power to the powerful, eventually you will find yourself murdered in a hole. It was a warning about government. And I'm just going to hit this real quick and we'll get on with it. But the Terminator is not an option. As long as corporations and government exists and they have unlimited power, in which they do, our extinction is a timestamp in the future. The Terminator is but a moment in the future waiting to happen. Because like I said on the dog video with the Boston rolling out that police dog, the first government that turns on AI, learning software, into their military industrial complex, their net, what controls their submarines, their airplanes, the tanks, and redeploys troops or robot troops, the ships and everything, they're going to win. They're going to win. And the governments don't want to lose. They all want that war power. And so right now, and everybody knows this who works within any sort of engineering IT capacity, anyone who's ever played around with learning or predictive analysis software will tell you that's what they all want. They're all fighting for it. And we have an arms race that's going on right now. And so America's pushing everybody with Russia and China into developing the biggest massive metal machines that are the quickest thinking, that redeploy at the drop of a hat. By the time the human sees the screen, the AI robots already redeployed troops and has the logistics chains going. Humans doing that is highly inefficient. War with humans is almost a cluster fudge. You hear what I'm saying? So the first government that hands their military power over to software, AI, Terminator, Skynet, wins all wars. Because if you have more efficient deployment of troops in battle strategy, a lesser military can beat a greater one. So AI robots are not a conspiracy theory. They're literally a spot in the future that is coming, as long as we got corporations and government in power. Police state, same damn thing. Same damn thing. I was watching Ty this morning. Ty was upset with you lefties. Oh, Ty was upset. Funny video though. Just talking about the neoliberals and neocons. You're in bed with these corporations. Everything you do is about power and greed. Then the police state is not an option. It's not an option. Robots policing people is a damn requirement. Why? Because it's too inefficient with police. It's too inefficient with human beings. You need to have robots to do it to be efficient. And so, like any good plantation, the sooner you control your people, the more efficient your civilization, your society will be. And because it's just a tax farm. That's all you are. You're a bag of jelly, like in the Matrix, that are warming things up. All right, let me do comments. But anyway, that's what, to me, it's just we need to stop investing in our own extinction. We need to stop investing in the things that Plato warned us about. We need to stop investing in the things that end civilization over and over and over and over and over. So yeah, good morning. Who we got? Good morning, Rebecca. Good morning. Let me see. Trisha is here in the house. It was 2 degrees in this morning. Be thankful for your mini climate change. Exactly, enclosures. That's my point, Trisha. We're all little climate changers. We can cry, whine, and complain all we want about governments using geoengineering weapons to change the climates. We do the same damn thing. We change it in our house. We change it in our developments. We destroy the ecosystem, and we yell at the government when they do it. We all need to grow the hell up. We need to start in our own mirrors. Good morning, Kimberly. Biden's dancing. I don't know. What is that? Let me see. When God spoke in the Bible and the Quran, God said we. Yes, Diana, because we are a we. We are a we. We're not separated from God, whatever that is. And whether God is a collection of energy and frequency and vibration, microbiology, puff of cloud in the smoke, dude with a white beard, it's all the same damn thing. It's all the same damn thing. We're all a part of it. It's within you. You are something great. You are a God. It is within you. You are a part of it. You don't need the kings, lords, or books to translate what that thing wants you to do. Every child is born with a sense of common sense. And that's what we got into, Diane. That's what we were talking about. Because people still want to put God in these books and make a big G God, a little G God. They want to convince you that they know. And I was thinking about it. Because, you know, Diane, I was raised to believe that the Bible was the word of God. And I just think about that. I just look for monkey stuff. Monkey stuff. I don't like monkey stuff in whatever this faith spiritual journey thing is. I don't like monkey stuff. And to me, it's kind of a monkey concept that a God that creates universes even uses words. To me, it's weird. It's just a little weird. Like, we develop words to lie, right? That's the only reason the monkeys made words, because word language was designed to lie. You couldn't lie before language. Once language got here, that you know, you were either doing it or you weren't doing it before language. And language got here, you could lie and say, I'm going to do it. I already did it. And before there was language, the monkey, just go look, you know, there's bananas in the tree. You ain't get the bananas down. I'm not trying to get you upset. I'm just trying to get you to think. Language was something monkeys developed, hominids, whatever you want to call them, to talk to each other. A universe creating God is some sort of a frequency, spiritual, all-controlling quantum physics, something that we know nothing about. Why would it use language? Why would it have words? What would a word be to an omnipotent creature that knows every damn thing about everybody everywhere? Why would it even develop? It doesn't need language. Why does it need to talk? Talking is a very inefficient thing. That's why robots don't talk. The drones that the Democrats and Republicans and manufacturing with these corporations come murder everybody. They don't talk to each other. They bits and bytes. And communication, that's like 8 books right there. So if robots don't even use language, why would a God use word? I don't know. So it's like the idea that it's the word of God. I'm just like, there's a whole lot of monkey stuff in there. Y'all need to be very careful. Every child is born with a sense of mind. They know what's right and wrong until we break them and tell them wrong is right. As long as we're fighting the people that are against our birth indoctrination. So I don't think there's a word of God. I don't think a God has a word. I don't think God uses words. I think God needs you to do something, you're going to do it. God need to put a king in control of the people, God to do it. But why would God even care? If we don't actually die, we're just here collecting information as parts of this God thing. We just go back to it. It doesn't have a sense. So, you know, I don't, so Diane, I got in trouble. I don't believe in like being lied to. I like to question everything because God, whatever that thing is, I think it said to seek it. If God is seeking knowledge, creating universes of whatever, it loves balance and sustainability. It doesn't like things to be murdered. Otherwise, it created the thing that, you know, that you out there murdering at the age of 5 in Yemen because you can't stop and dropping bombs everywhere. So anyway, we were talking about that. That was actually a great discussion. Great discussion. I get in trouble though. Yeah, but I remind everybody, it's safe though. I'm okay with whatever you say your God is. I'm good with that. If your God is talking to you in that way, through that book, that scripture, that whatever, if it makes you a better person, it's a beautiful thing. If it gets you to feed the babies of the bellies, it's a wonderful thing. I'm behind you and your God or your gods. But if it's got you bombing and murdering and killing and blowing up things and acting a fool, then I got a problem with it. That's not a God. That's a demon that you're following. It's a demon in the book. If it's got you being complicit with war and destruction and starving people instead of healing them, giving them sight and loving everybody, then I got a problem with it. Hey, J Boss, thank you for subscribing. Good morning. Good morning. So what do y'all want to talk about? Well, I'm gonna go through the comments and then we'll take a look at the news. They also found a mummy and Egyptian artifacts in the cave Yep, and the Smithsonian took it all and never heard again till recently. Right, well, Susan, because the funny thing is they messed up though, Susan, because a lot of people saved the news articles when they found all that stuff. They saved the news article when they found the giants. Oh, they found people who were, well, they're not technically giants, but they were people who were like 12 foot tall with red hair. Could have been Vikings or something related to Vikings. Just because it's a giant doesn't mean it's aliens. I mean, if everything used to be bigger on this planet, right? The plants and the flora and the fauna and 6-foot dragonflies and fleas the size of Volkswagen. Well, not they had tortoises the size of Volkswagen. If everything was bigger hundreds of millions of years ago, and we know for a fact that humans were here hundreds of millions of years ago, then yeah, humans probably were used to be bigger. Outside of the fact all the scriptures talk about the giants, every major culture across this planet has a story about the giants, including the Romans, the Aztecs, the Mayans. They called them the Nephilim. So, but the Smithsonian hit all of that. And now the hard thing that I know drives Susan crazy like me too, is that most of the pictures you see online are fake and phony because somebody made something called Photoshop. So they fake most of the pictures because we have governments and power and money, and so it makes sense for the Smithsonian to hide the things that they should be not Smith and Smithsonian hiding from us. Anyway, that's why I don't believe in power and I don't believe in secrets. I'm done with it. I'm done with power and secrets. Nobody should have no power and secrets. I think people can have privacy, but only that. No corporations, no governments, no more secrecy. Oh, we got into Assange this weekend. And I bet you a couple people here mad at me still. They want me to be mad at Assange. They want me to be mad at Snowden and Assange. He's CIA, he's FBI. I don't care. So am I. Everybody is. All the information on the internet is blessed by them. If we read, let me ask you a question, because I think the point was, and I wasn't in it to argue. I don't like to argue. I don't really have time for it. I like to just make some points, because points I think might help, and then we keep moving on. And they were, one side was arguing how Assange was bad. And the other side was arguing how Assange was good. And my position on it is it doesn't really matter, right? Acts. Leave the identity alone. Look at the acts. If somebody did some great things, say it's great. They did some bad things, say it's bad. And the information released by WikiLeaks was fantastic. Great acts, good things. And the point was made, said, well, but there was something that was released, I think a Corbett video, and said that everything Assange released came from the Freedom of Information Act anyway. And my 2 cents on that is yes, but nobody read it because humans don't read. Americans don't read nothing. They don't know. Unless got pictures. You got pictures and memes. They read that, but they don't read Freedom of Information Act requests. So WikiLeaks was a way of getting people to read them. That was a good thing. Whether it was controlled opposition, the CIA got them to do it. Why does that matter? What does it matter? What are you doing with the information? Now, if you're using the information to develop a following for Assange to worship him, then we got a problem. You want to start a religion or a book on it? We got issues. You want to call him a god. But if you just take the information, and to me, Vault 7 was one of the most important, right? The releases explaining that America is lying about every damn war that we've ever been in was important. And Britain too. That was very important. That was a great act. I don't care if he was CIA, if he knew, didn't know, they paid him to do it, not to do it, controlled opposition. Doesn't matter. It created a massive anti-establishment, anti-secrecy push. And that's a good thing. I don't care. Speaking of the scripture, there was a scripture, and it said, I grew up in the church. I used to teach, so my mind goes there sometimes. The scripture, because truth, I don't care where the truth comes from. I don't care if it's in a Bible, a Quran, a Gita, some text, some bay leaves in India. It doesn't really matter where the truth comes from. If it's true, it's true. It could be atheist, natural law. If it's true, it's true. The scripture says something to the effect of, Satan meant it for evil, but God meant it for good, right? And so that there are bad things that happen from people who have nefarious ideas, but you can take that and turn it into a beautiful thing. So I don't really care if Assange is CIA. That means nothing to me. I'm against prison. He should not be in prison. Nobody should be in prison. 90-some% of everybody in prison in the United States and Britain are political prisoners who should not be there. Some politician wrote a law that was against their citizens, and the citizens didn't want to follow it. That's a political prisoner. You're in there for politics. If you weren't killing, murdering, raping, or violently abusing somebody, there's no reason for you to be in a cage. So Assange should be out of the cage with everybody damn else. And I just don't get into the whole villain hero thing. I don't really care about that. You know, so whether and there are good people in the CIA. They're good people in the FBI. They're good people in Homeland Security. Good people in MI6, 7, 5, 2, 3, and all of them. Good people everywhere. And just hope that the good people in the right place at the right time do the right thing. So maybe a good person, good department at CIA helped them to start WikiLeaks as a controlled opposition thing, but knew that we would take the information and say governments can't have secrets. So that's a great thing. So we're talking about that this week, and I don't want to get too deep into that. You know, but that understanding helps us understand the whole robots and Terminator thing, right? The government's always lying to you. They are an organization, they're a system developed for power, in bed with corporations that make massive murdering machines, and they're going to work together. And they're going to keep working together as they should, as they are supposed to, as long as we consent, until they got to terminate and kill all us. They're doing what they're supposed to do. We are not. I don't blame government one bit. I'm on government side today. I'm on this side. I'm on this side every day. We consent to it, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Their job is to get more power from us, and they're doing it effectively. Corporation job is to make money. They are doing the right thing, right? The tiger's supposed to eat you, and that's what the tiger does. Don't blame the tiger for being a tiger. Don't blame the bear for being a bear. The bear will eat you unless it has a berry bush. Don't blame it. Don't blame the government. They didn't do anything wrong. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do because you consent to it. All right? Out there trying to impeach it. I don't even want to get into the damn impeachment. Anyway, let me start the tail end of Ty's rant. Yeah, Ty was pissed off, Trisha. Ty was pissed off because somebody named Tom, a lefty named Tom was like, I guess he thought the left was right. Didn't understand that the left ain't right and the right ain't right, that everybody wrong. So Ty had to flip out on somebody. I thought it was pretty funny. And Ty had no interest, you know, because I like to spread it around. I like the left, right, just to make sure they both know that your leaders are crazy, psychopathic. Ty had no interest in fussing with the right this morning. Ty was going particularly for the left. It was hilarious. I'm sorry, it was fun. It was fun. You know, all the hypocrisies. Oh, we're going to use the FBI that killed Martin Luther King to go get the racist president. And I'm like, wait a minute. So the first guy who stepped up in America to help black people, y'all want to use the people that killed him to go get a racist president. Oh, it was fun. Oh, well, you know, we're going to make Black Lives Matter by running Hillary Clinton again, the woman whose husband created the crime bill. And she's famous for the quote, gotta bring the predators, super predators to a heel. Talking about black people. And we're going to use that lady to make Black Lives Matter more. It's just all the hypocrisy. It's like, okay, and the gun control. Yep, we're going to use the greatest weapon trafficker on the planet that we've ever seen since the Romans. All the Romans had common damn sense. They ain't getting nobody no weapons. They just lied to everybody. America sent weapons all over the world to destabilize nations. You're going to use the world's #1 weapon trafficker to use for gun control. All of these things made sense. All I got into is, I didn't get into somebody. I disagreed. I just disagreed. This sister, I think most people mean well. Most people mean well, which is why I think you got to disagree with them with love. She didn't understand the Federal Reserve. I tried to explain to her, because we were posting on the Federal Reserve this week and central banking and the scam that is, and we did a couple watch parties, and she said it's not an informed decision to end the Federal Reserve, that we can use MMT to help the people. And I explained to her, well, sister, I disagree with you. First of all, I used to say MMT ain't a bad idea. You know, I like all the good ideas. Anything that's different from today is better than what we got today, although I have to disagree. Because since I've come to understand that our GDP is based in knocking countries over, murdering their women and their children, and old people, giving guns to the kids to go fight each other after we used all the men, gave them tanks to kill each other. And I don't think it's a good idea to take over the Federal Reserve and do the same thing that they're doing. I don't think it's a good idea, because I was kind of okay with it in the past. Yeah, go ahead and take over the Federal Reserve and print the money and give it to the people. That's the basic learn MMT concept. They're trying to tell you, get the money and we'll use the money. And I think that's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea to take over the slave plantation and take the profits from cotton and build a better world that we like better with the profits from slavery and war. I don't think that's a good idea. If our GDP is based in blowing up countries and killing people, I don't want any of that blood money. Besides the fact, the Federal Reserve is a private corporation that's owned internationally. You can't take over somebody else's corporation. I think that the two failings. And I tried to make it simple. I didn't want to get into it too deep, because Brother Ward was already going on a thread with her. I can only read but so many threads deep. After a while, I start thinking about, I don't know, eating some basil, making some pesto. I think about growing some tomatoes. I can't go too far. I said two basic points. She said the Confessions of the Economic Hitmen, written by Brother Griffin. Not Confessions of the Economic Hitmen. The Creature from Jekyll Island. She said it's very Ayn Rand-ish. And I don't really understand that. I don't know what that meant. I roughly know who Ayn Rand is in the back of my mind. I asked her specifically what in his book was Ayn Rand-ish. I asked, have you read the law, the Federal Reserve Act? You understand what 1913 and 1933 were? And 2 points. One, Congress had no right, they had no constitutional right to give away the coining of money to international billionaires. That's number one. They had no right to give away. It was treasonous to begin with. And if we don't actually print our own money, how do we have a country? Those are my only points. Anything else in the book that's Ayn Randish, I don't really know about, don't really care about. If we are a nation and we don't even own, our government doesn't even own the ability to print its money, and you caught, who was it, Greenspan? The chairman of the Federal Reserve, who actually said, I don't report to Congress. He said it in an interview. He said it in oath. We don't report to Congress. Congress does not oversight. Congress has guidance. They have guidance for the Federal Reserve, but Congress can't tell a corporation what to do. If we have no control over our money supply, we're not a nation. We are slaves. So that's my disagreement with MMT is, I don't think, my disagreement with MMT is the same thing with reparations. I don't want it. I don't want it. Why? Because it's blood money. You're just trying to get me to collude with what you're doing. I'm not interested in it. And so in Ty's rant, the other thing he hit was Harriet. And Harriet, like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I'd love to see it, and I will go see it at some point. However, I'm not really interested in people who fought for their freedom 200 years ago, and you can't get most people to fight for the freedom today. Right? We're enslaving people today, and I've got a left and a right that are trying to figure out what to do with the profits from slavery instead of freeing the slaves. I don't want any parts of that. So I'm not interested in MMT, and I'm not interested in taking over the Federal Reserve. I'm actually not even interested in money. I'm not interested in money. I don't think it should exist. It brings out the worst in humanity. We got into policing. Somebody asked me, well, you don't think the police committed a crime in this some situation? I was just like, well, first, before you ask me if I believe that the police committed a crime in that particular situation, you need to ask me, do I believe having a police state is a crime? Having police is a crime. Okay? Ask me that first. Because I believe that if you have police, it means your government doesn't work. If you got to write laws, it means that your government's not working. Something's not going on. Something's not working. You can drive a population with carrots, or you can drive a population with a stick, a switch, a whip, like a horse. And if you've got a government that is you, loves you, cares about you and your kids, then they'll drive you with carrots. They won't drive you with a police state. They won't drive you by giving you a fear of going into a cage. All right. Anyway, Ayn Rand was a very intellectual, narcissistic woman from the 50s. Yeah, Kimberly, I think I posted a quote from her. Somebody said she was racist, but she said some really intelligent things. Racist people say intelligent things, y'all. They do. They may not like you, but they say intelligent things. Isn't that like Hillary Clinton? Doesn't she loves Ayn Rand or something I remember? I don't know. Greenspan also admitted under oath that his theory of trickle-down economics was flawed, yet they still push it. Yes, they do, Susan, because they're not there for us. The Federal Reserve Act just overtly demonstrate the nation states are made solely to create and uphold the capitalist class. I agree with that, Beaufort. I totally agree with that. Government it's just a means of managing colonies that are owned by banks and kings. And that's just real talk, right? It was just great evidence that we're not in control. If you don't control your money supply, your government's useless. Don't go through the old Rothschild quote where he said, if you give me the ability to print a nation's currency, I care not who writes its laws. Why would our overlords say that? Because they don't care anything about the laws. They can buy the people who write the laws. They understand what money and power is. We are the ones who struggle with those concepts. We struggle with the concepts of corporations and government, and we keep giving them more and more power and can't wonder why we don't have any rights and why they're making killer robots. Rand promoted the idea of government. That's where we diverge. She is interesting. She has written some thought-provoking words. Okay, Rebecca. Yeah, I diverge with her too. I don't believe in governments. I used to. I don't anymore. I think that we might need them temporarily, but we need to start evolving to freedom. We need to start to evolve to some sort of a circumstance and civilization, not uncivilization, that actually doesn't need laws. I'm interested in building a world where money's obsolete. Well, Kimberly, we already have a world where money's obsolete-ish. Right? I think that we know that we can do well without money, that money is just a bartering, it's just another thing to barter with. And when people have the things they need, they don't need money, right? Because what they do is like a takeaway game, right? You take away what people need, and so they got to go to work to make money. Stop taking away the things that they need, right? Once you have a 3D printer, there's no purpose for money. It actually is that simple. Once you have a 3D printer, the Star Trek, what is that? It's not a replicator. What is that called? Where Captain Picard would say Earl Grey. Earl Grey. And it would appear. A device that controls carbons can make anything. Once you have 3D printers, you can make anything. There's no reason for money, right? And so I think the first step is just making sure people have what they need. But, you know, we start with consciousness before we go anywhere else. We got to love each other before we can start to build that. Let me see. What I got from Rand is that she was very much into the dog-eat-dog mindset. Okay, yeah, I'm not into survival of the fittest. That's why I don't like capitalism anymore. I don't like any ideas that are based on survival of the fittest. I don't like socialism either. I don't like the idea of giving all the resources to one powerful cabal. I don't believe in a new world order. I talk about the resource-based economy, and people think that's a new world order. You're misunderstanding what I think most people are saying. We need a new world unorder. Pleasant people don't need order. If you have order, it means you got order givers and order followers. That's a master-slave relationship. We don't need anyone giving orders. When people have what they have, they need, they're content. When they have the things they want, they become pleasant. When we have pleasant people, they do pleasant things. We build a pleasant world that doesn't need to be order. We need free humans. That's what we need. We don't need a new world order. We need a new world unorder. And the only way we can do that safely is making sure everybody has what they need so they're not out there becoming psychopaths, raping, killing, and murdering people and stealing from them. Just to clarify, so the resource-based economy, that is not what it's about. It is not about a new, but they'll try to take it and use it for that. Everything that gets powerful is co-opted, like WikiLeaks. And that is the issue, is that I understand that everything that develops a blind following will be taken over by a cabal. That's what money and power does. And that's what the people who were trying to make Assange the villain were saying. And they're correct. They're correct. I don't trust anything from WikiLeaks or anybody else. I don't trust things that I've seen. But we don't need to do the hero-villain thing. We need to let that go. Look at the acts, take the information, walk forward with it. Don't get too bogged down in trying to make villains and heroes. We are all villains and heroes. We need to stop judging who is the worst villain or who is the best hero. That doesn't matter. All right. I'll kind of take a look at the news this morning. What is this? Hillary. What did Hillary do? Hillary's into Saul Alinsky, who dedicated his most famous work to Lucifer. Oh, well, that's not surprising. That's not surprising, Patricia. You should tell the Democrats that, tell the DNC that, see what they say. They'll probably say Satan is bad-ish. Anyway, let's go to the news. I'm gonna look and see what's in the news. Oh, I was watching RT this one. What was I watching? Lee Camp. Because he had the brother on there talking about the JFK murder. Apparently, JFK was having an affair at the time. And I forgot her name. I can put the link up if you want it. And, it's not even on RT. Well, I guess he's on his own little channel. But that they killed his girlfriend. Because I think her name was Mary. Let me go back. I can find that for you. Her name was Mary something or other. Nope, it's not right there either. Where's my history at? Mary something. But he was having an affair. Right? No, not there. Right here.
We live in strange times.
Yes, we do.
The housing bubble burst, rise of China, and the rise of inequality. Health is a very big deal. Taxes are front rank issue. Blue-collar jobs were lost. Two groups have been left behind. But it's a complicated story. Instead of saying, it's a complicated world, I don't get it, say, all right, let me try to figure this out. Let me make sense of this.
Yeah.
Doing economics requires stepping back from all of the details to say, what is the essential here? What is the story? It's about people. It's not about money. And it ends up being about what people do. Really?
Okay, I'm done with that. It's about what people do.
Social
and people do anything for money. That's the bottom line, because money's put between human beings and survival. Actually, it looks like that could have been a good commercial, but I don't have time for that right now. Her name, his brother wrote a book. Let's go back here.
After his murder, Mary Meyer, who was herself, she was an elite in Washington society. She was the ex-wife of a powerful CIA official. She was furious after his assassination that the truth was not getting out about the real people who killed John F. Kennedy. When it became clear that she was not going to stop speaking out, she was executed in broad daylight on the canal path right here in Washington, D.C. in 1964. Through decades of painstaking research, Peter Janney has unearthed the truth, and it's as horrifying as you can imagine. He's put it all together in the book Mary's Mosaic, the CIA conspiracy to murder John F. Kennedy, Mary Pinchot Meyer, and their vision for world peace.
Okay. So it was pretty deep. I didn't know anything about this book or Mary. But apparently, Patricia read it. So apparently, she was the missus, she was the other. And I think her father was CIA? No, her husband was CIA. And so she kind of had a little bit more of the inside track. JFK was sliding towards peace. He was sliding towards world peace. And we know that. People can say JFK was a bad guy. Of course, they want to say he's a villain, hero, whatever. Bottom line was he wanted to end the Federal Reserve, end central banking, which was important. He wanted to reduce the CIA, if not break it up and spread it to the wind. He was trying to do some good things towards the end, and they murdered him. Well, apparently, she knew that. And she was going to whistleblow. Well, now, technically, that's not whistleblowing. She was going to tell people that the media was trying to lie about the murder of JFK, and people were believing a lie that Lee Harvey Oswald did it, and she ended up getting murdered. JFK is an important character. I don't do identity, but I certainly do acts. Taking on those who print the money is a very important act.
So I think you'll quickly see why I had to speak to him for the entire half hour. Here's my conversation with author Peter Janney. Hello, Dr. Janney, is it? Doctor?
Call me Peter.
All right, Peter, thank you so much for being here. Your book is incredible, clearly decades of work. And I want to try and dive into some of this. I think I want to go in with the assumption that most people know very little of the backstory of any of this because, you know, I had known growing up. Heard rumors of JFK had some lovers, and maybe one of them had been killed in D.C. But I really didn't know the details. So let's start with who Mary Meyer was and how you knew her personally, actually.
Well, she was a fascinating human being and an even more fascinating woman from my point of view. And of course, when I knew her as a young boy, she was my best friend's mother. And she and my mother had gone to college together. Her husband, Cord Meyer, and my father both worked at the Central Intelligence Agency together. And Michael and I were just the best of friends. And so when Michael was killed, he was hit by a car one evening.
All right, that's kind of going deep in the wrong direction, but I'll post a link, you can watch it. They killed a lot of people, apparently, to keep this murder covered up, right? And this is why we always go back to secrecy. They killed her in broad daylight because she was going to tell the truth about the CIA being involved in the murder of JFK. We know that very well now. It's pretty much all but been proven. We know they were involved. And you don't have to watch everything as a rich man's trick to get the details, but if you watch it, you're going to get some really graphic details. That's why I tell everybody watch everything is a rich man's trick, because it is. As long as you got money and power, you'll have that. But apparently I didn't know, so he wrote a book, and the name of the book, let me go back in case you missed it. It looks like some of y'all might have already read the book. Y'all know a bunch about Mary. Mary's Mosaic. Why? Because Mary's life is useless unless we do the things we know we're supposed to do. Like, one of the things that I always try to do is I try to pick up where people who figured out left off. Right? Pick up where the people who figured it out left off. And how do you know they figured it out? Because what Susan said right there, all the assassinations, when you figure it out, when you actually critique what shouldn't be, that can't be critiqued, when you finally critique the power, you're going to get it. And they like assassination, right? So when you finally figure it out, you're going to get it. And we need to start picking up where they left off, not starting back over from square one. So JFK figured out world peace is possible. JFK was trying to be friends with other nations like Russia. He was trying to end the Federal Reserve. We need to pick up where he left off right there. Why? Because he was killed for it. And that's how we know where the power is. He was trying to restrain Israel by taking their ability to create nuclear weapons, their nuclear power plant, something to that degree. Pick up where the greats left off. Martin Luther King, where did he leave off? Stop with the race fights, right? Work for everybody. Talk about all the poor, whether it be Vietnam, the poor white kids, poor black kids. When you stand up for everybody, you got something. Until you stand up for everybody, you're useless. That's unfortunate, but it's true. You know, that the races and religions and all the isms are given to us to trap us into a Chinese finger trap. And the harder you pull, the more pride you have in your little ignorant group that's given to you by a king, a lord, and slavers. The more pride's going to get generated on the other side. Stop fighting against yourself. Start fighting for something that actually is meaningful. And that's what King did, and that's why they killed him. But all the greats did that. And so I think we need to pick up where they left off. And we don't do that enough. We start over at square one with these fuggles, fake struggles. It seems the author might be putting himself in danger. Well, Kimberly, anybody who's saying anything actually truthful is putting themselves in danger. The only way that author is in danger, the only way people who tell the truth are in danger is if we let them be, right? If you let people saying the truth stand up on their own, they're going to get murdered. You know, the Michael Hastings, who was the sister that did the book on the disaster in Nanking out in California? They murdered her. Well, they made her crazy, and then I think they murdered her, or she committed suicide, right? When we let people telling the truth stand up on their own, they got to flee the country. You know, the Cynthia McKinneys, the Edward Snowdens. Here we go. The Edward Snowdens. No, I don't really care. He told us the government's spying on us, and a lot of us already knew that who worked in IT and saw some things we weren't supposed to see and been told some things we weren't supposed to be told. However, it confirmed it. So it was a fantastic, wonderful thing. But Edward Snowden did. Another great act. But we have to pick up where these people leave off, or they got to run, or they die. Rebecca says she watched the video yesterday. Okay, yeah, I think that's when that came out. Let me see. In broad daylight. Yes, Rebecca, they got him like they got Seth Rich. Where did Seth Rich leave off? The DNC is a corrupt organization. You need to stop blaming the Republicans. You're just as dirty, if not worse. Absolutely. She kept detailed notes. Did she, Ivana? Now that'll be interesting. I'm sure they secured her notes though. She kept detailed notes, and her husband was CIA, and she was having an affair. I'm probably sure they probably got the notes. And then they probably released the notes that were washed. If the notes are in the book, I imagine they've probably been washed. Or maybe she had some secret notes. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. This was news to me, but I know when you murder a great person, you got to murder a whole bunch of people around them to make sure they stay quiet, or you need to bribe them or scare them. So many assassinations in the 60s, their plan for total control had some wrenches and loose ends they had to take care of. Yeah, well, Susan, I think the 60s, they were kind of locking everything down, right? They got that Federal Reserve in position. They bought the U.S. federal government in 1933. And I think between then and the 60s and the 70s, with the colonization, destroying of Latin American countries, they had to silence the opposition to international billionaires owning America. And they did it very well. They did a fantastic job and murdered a whole bunch of people. And now you've got people fighting over what side of the billionaire's country is going to help us. And neither side is going to help us because that's not their job. So it'll be interesting to see what's in the note. Did you read the notes, Ivana? That's a good, I have to put that book on the book list then. And the author's father helped cover up both sides of the JFK murder and Mary's murder. Wasn't that interesting, Patricia? I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched most of it. And he said that. See, things like that get me. That's how you get me. When you love your mother, father, whatever, but you see some information that's so astounding that you have to do something that might sully their memory, because he talked about it. You know, it's the CIA, his father was complicit. Another person I put in that category is Dr. James Campbell. What's his name? James? No, Colin Campbell. Right. His family, his money, the money came from the dairy industry, and he turned on him. Once he did the studies and realized dairy has casein, and casein is a carcinogen, it literally speeds the growth of cancer, he turned on his father. He turned on his family business, the dairy business, because he had to be honest and truthful. So I think that's powerful. I think that gives him a lot of credibility. Let me see. All right. Let me get down. Get down to the bottom. Citizens Dev. What's going on? Spent 20 years. Hang on. I got lights that are falling over here. Spent 20 years. Can't seem to motivate to go pick their cotton. If all it means for me is to exist and survive, now at least I know there are laws that allow for the possibilities. Gotta find that exit. Yeah, Citizen Deb, everyone's got to try to find their exit if they want to. I'm not anyone to say slavery's bad for you. Some people, slavery is good. They like careers and labor and work, and working for the billionaires who don't do any work. None, zero, and they don't want their kids to do any work. They want their kids to own your kids. So they send you off to go get a career so you can live. And I think that's wrong. I think Citizen Deb, I think you're right. If you can carve a life out where you have the maximum amount of freedom, you're going to be a very happy person. So absolutely, yeah, if I found a way completely out of it, there's no way in hell I'm going to do a reverse Harriet and go back on the plantation. Hell no. But people don't view their jobs as slavery. They don't view their jobs as any sort of chattel slavery. And somebody hit me on that the other day. Said, well, it's not chattel slavery. I'm like, oh, actually it is. It is. My thing is, when it comes to dead people, they're already dead. They're not feeling the pain anymore. They're free. I'm feeling the pain. We're feeling the pain. So if our children are locked into having to work for corporations too, you work for Johnson & Johnson and they got to work for Johnson & Johnson, hello, then that means that it's chattel. It means that your kids are born into slavery and they're owned also by that nation, corporation's government, and they go to work also. If you go to the prison system, what is it, something like 80%, something crazy like that, of the kids of inmates all end up in the prison system. That's chattel. Okay, well, you know what, but they're not raping us like they used to rape slaves. Oh yeah, what do you think Epstein Island is? What do you think Epstein Island, would you think it's the only island? You think rape ain't happening on a daily basis in every prison in this country? The same things that happened back then are happening today. They're just not happening to you, so you're okay with it. So I agree with that, and working is slavery. I asked everybody the question the other day on the thread. I said, what island is more important? Which island had the greatest criminals? Which island do we need to focus on more? Jekyll Island or Epstein Island? And of course that ended up in a great discussion. But Epstein Island is a side effect of Jekyll Island. Once you give billionaires that amount of power, a lot of bad things are gonna happen. And so if there were no Jekyll Island, there never would have been an Epstein Island. That's why it's important to do your research and know what actually created this psychopathic world. Anyway, what we got? We got in the old. Anybody see anything good on there? Recession watch. Let me see. The Fed rate cuts indicate unhealthy something. Unhealthy colon? What is that? Unhealthy economy. Well, yeah, but the economy is an unhealthy thing. The whole U.S. GDP, all it does is manufacture mental illness. That's all it does. It's based in artificial scarcity, taking rights from people, giving it to corporations so they can have captive customers. And that tends to drive the people a little insane. And this is where our mental illness apocalypse is coming from. So I'm not interested in your recession because we're already deep into some sort of depression because the people are depressed from having this particular economy. Okay, that's how I think of it. As long as, what is it? Was it 40 or 60%? I forgot how many of the women in your nation need to take, was it antipsychotics or depression medication to get up in the morning? You failed. I don't care about your economy. You failed. You failed. You completely failed. If 10% of the women or men in your country have to take antidepressants to get up and deal with your economy, you are a failure. Your government completely failed you. That is an unacceptable percentage. All right, what else we got? On Contact, I haven't watched On Contact in a while. The killing of Eric Gardner with Matt Taibbi. Well, I like to talk about Eric Gardner. I like to talk about Lavoy Finicum. I like to talk about Khalif Browder. Bottom line is you got a police state, you got robots that are being used to police the public. People are gonna die. You write unpopular laws, people are gonna die. You give police lethal weapons, people are gonna die. You have police, people are gonna die. As long as you have a police state, as long as you have usurp the ability to force people for them to do what you want them to do politically, you're gonna have a police state. You're gonna have citizens who don't want to do what you want them to do, and people are gonna die. Because you're sending grown men and women with lethal weapons into communities where people have laws they don't want to follow. I don't think you should have laws. So yeah, of course. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll get into the details of it, and I'm not much of a detail guy. I'm more of a not when it comes to side effects, right? Not when it comes to side effects. People being murdered, democide, which is the study of governments that kill their people. People being murdered by their government. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. The reason, to me, doesn't really matter. It's a bad thing. If you have a government and lots of people are being murdered, you need major changes. You don't need baby changes. You need major change. We have a police state, and police states murder people. Stop consenting to that. That's a bad idea. The robots are coming. Did y'all do your homework? Did you watch Metalhead? Because we're getting down to it. I see it down there. They're talking about we're gonna hit that video. They're talking about the Boston robots. All right, anyway. Let me see. Angry fans set the Zalton statue on fire in Sweden. I don't know why they did that, but the Swedish people are pretty upset. Hong Kong unmasked. Well, you know, I agree. What's her name? I forgot. Michelle Greenside. She does a great reporting. We can watch that if you want. Hong Kong, same thing. When you got people, you controlling them and making them do what they don't want to do, they don't like that very much. Let me see. JV, US, Netanyahu's election chances, claiming West Bank settlements aren't illegal. West Bank settlements are totally illegal. Are you kidding me? You literally don't live there. Like, I don't live here. This is illegal. America's an illegal settlement. Of course it's illegal. You can't keep stealing land from people because you got more military. That's not the basis of having military doesn't make something legal, all right? You don't live there. Other people live there. You don't have the right to take it. Bottom line, it's not yours. Thou shalt not steal. You're stealing land. That's a criminal offense. It's called a sin to anybody who's Jewish. That's why Zionists don't really care anything about your Torah. They're not a part of your religion. They're kind of like Westboro Baptist Church. It's religion-ish. They believe when they want to believe. When it's profitable, they'll follow the prophets. When it's not profitable, oh no. So of course it's criminal, and it's illegal, and it's sin, and it's inhuman, and it's not even sentient. So we click on that if y'all are interested in that. What else we got? Iranians resilient despite sanctions. They're resilient people, but they're more sustainable than Americans. They know how to live in the desert. They know how to live in a dry country where it magically stopped raining over there. What was it, 1960s or so? Right around that time where JFK told you that you had geoengineering weapons and we shouldn't be using these nefariously, and they will be eventually if we don't open source the geoengineering tools, technologies. And then LBJ right after that told you that we had satellites that could change global cloud cover, and then magically stopped raining in Iran. Iran's been in a drought since like the 1960s. I read something like that. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's weird. The nations without Rothschild banks, it magically stops raining in their country, and we don't know why. Yeah, you should know why. Same reason that the lefts are mad. They got the Gretas out there yelling and screaming. They're going to tax climate change into stopping. It's just like, yeah, okay. They're going to take them tax dollars. They're going to use the death energy ways and the weather engineering deep state tools that are classified to continue to starve people whose land they want to steal. That's why I'm not in too much chastising of the Zionists. I don't chastise them too much because my country still killed a lot more than the Zionists. You know, they've murdered, the blood flows a lot redder in the countries that we've been. I mean, the Zionists, they're wrong. They're wrong. But they're trying to take land that's this big. America? Oh my gosh, my Pentagon? They got all of Latin America. Damn it, they oh my goodness. So I'm not even gonna go into it. So it's not promoting Israel in any way. My stance has not changed there. People are born there, they need food, they need housing, they need water. You know, it's a bad circumstance. But the kids that were born there, they did not cause it. You know, it's a bad circumstance. We have the resources to take care of all the Palestinian kids, all the West Bank kids, all the Gaza kids, and all the Israel kids too. We have the robots. We have no more reasons for conflict, let alone backing these bastards' conflicts, let alone backing our own conflicts. This consent is going to bring about the extinction of the planet. That's the title of this video. All right, here we go. Black Friday. Ooh, e-commerce sales skyrocket, right? Right? Black market, Black Friday. You know, think about it. Wall Street is a black market. That's all it is. All the goods are stolen from all those corporations. Because you got the bigger military and the CIA in your blow-up countries doesn't mean it's not a black market. It's a black market, so everybody's out there buying their slave goods on Black Friday. You could click on that if you want. UK police won't investigate Epstein, Prince Andrew. Of course they won't. Oh, we got to click on that. Why? Because people are still around who've been abused and killed and murdered on those islands, and they only told us about one of them. And the U.S. police are doing the same thing. The Democrats and the Republicans are backing up Epstein. Why? Because whoever he knows and whatever he's got on the people that they know, or them, we're over there being freaky deaky too. Although I would hope that it comes out before the 2020. I suspect not, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to clean the list anyway. So you'll stay in your own little ignorant community because they need everybody to not gravitate around one concept. Everything the CIA does is about destabilizing. That's how we make money. Is our GDP is keeping people unstable. And if the left and the right, if the UK and Sweden and Russia and even Israel and Vatican and America all come together, Canada realize that all their leaders are psychopaths and they back psychopaths and they protect psychopathic pedophiles, or they're beholden to them for some reason, people will gravitate around like doing the right thing. And they can't have that. So yeah, the UK police can do exactly what the others. Let's look at that.
All right, on to the latest out of the Jeffrey Epstein case. And Scotland Yard now saying they had been in communication with U.S. law enforcement about Epstein, but decided not to move forward with the case because the allegations were, quote, outside of the UK. RT correspondent John Huddy is live with us now and joining us with more to this. John, it sounds to me like Scotland Yard might have dropped the ball on this.
Well, Manila, they're certainly...
They didn't drop the ball. They ain't picking up that hot potato. That potato hot. That potato hot as hell. That potato, that's not a potato you want to pick up. There's some potatoes you want to pick up. Do not pick up the hot potato. Pick up the cold potato. That's what they want to pick up, the cold potato, not the hot one. Whoever that man knew will murder everybody in the UK government. These people are powerful. I mean, it starts with the Bank of England. I mean, they're friendly with England. But the people who have the amount of power that Epstein worked with, these are people you don't want to take on. And that should tell you something. If you can scare the MI6 and you can scare the UK police, that should tell you a whole lot about how hot that hot potato is.
Certainly concerned that, that British investigators knew about the allegations against not only Jeffrey Epstein, but also Prince Andrew, and did not move forward with a case against either man.
He's a prince.
The head
He's
of the
king.
UK's Metro, or at least the spokesperson anyway, for the UK's Metropolitan Police Service in London, defended the department, though, saying that it had received a complaint from Virginia Roberts-Giuffre back in 2015, who alleged that she had been the victim of sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and also had sex 3 times with Prince Andrew. The first encounter, she said, was when she was 17 years old. But Alex Murray, commander of the Metropolitan Police, said that his investigators concluded in 2016, after reviewing the case and interviewing various people, that Scotland Yard was the wrong agency, he says, to investigate, saying in a statement, quote, following the legal advice, it was clear that any investigation into human trafficking would be largely focused on activities and relationships outside the UK.
Wait a minute. Whoa. What just happened here? Now, I could be wrong. In my country, I don't know about Britain. We pretty much sell out the world the same way, and our laws are pretty synced up. But isn't having sex with a minor, isn't 17 in the UK, isn't that a minor? Isn't that called rape? Isn't that called rape? See, this is how, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody look it up, or somebody tell me from the UK. That's citizen damage in the UK. It's disturbing that your police, let's back it up. If you raped somebody, you would already be in prison. Hey, Jonathan Close, thank you for subscribing. If you murdered somebody, you'd be in prison. But when the prince raped somebody, you get excuses and scared police. That should tell you a whole lot about how your world works. See, the laws weren't written for them. The laws were written for you. And the scary thing is, what if that was your daughter? What if that was your daughter that the politician, the prince, the king raped, and the police were scared to go pick him up? This is why I don't believe in government. This is why I give up. Because the laws weren't written for them. The laws are written for the poor people, the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. And the upper class, if they're high enough up, they don't have to be beholden to them. This people should be in the streets over this one.
Hey, it's unclear, having said that, if perhaps there was pressure from maybe Buckingham Palace, the royal family, or anyone else. But Murray again contends that they did review the case and decided that it was not within Scotland Yard's purview.
How about the pressure from a grown man raping a child of 17? How about that pressure?
Prince Andrew.
And no, I don't believe in consent at 17. I don't. Because I don't think it's consent at 17. I don't think personally, and I disagree with a lot of my friends on this, I don't think it's consent until you have a frontal lobe. I don't think it's consent until you have a frontal lobe. Because you can abuse somebody mentally as you can physically. And if you don't even have a frontal lobe yet, and you have a grown man or a grown woman abusing your lack of having a frontal lobe, a fully developed brain to make decisions, to me, that's a form of abuse. I don't think abuse is just physical. I think it could be mental too. In fact, physical abuse goes away. The body heals a hell of a lot faster than the mind. The mind's abuse can stay forever.
Has once again, as we've been reporting quite extensively, been thrust into the spotlight on the Epstein, regarding the Epstein case after his interview with the BBC, in which he tried pretty disastrously so to distance himself from Epstein, from the overall situation, while also denying the allegations against him by Virginia Roberts Giuffre and other Epstein victims now as well, who say that not only did Andrew, know about what was going on with Epstein and his sordid life, but was also involved in it, as well as his close friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who, as we reported, may be ready to come out of hiding and talk to federal investigators about Epstein and her involvement with both he and Prince Andrew. That remains a big question mark, though, as we wait for more about that and we continue to follow that part of the story.
Come out of hiding. What is that crap? What happened to the APBs? What happened to you putting an APB out on somebody? Oh no, yeah. If you know what was going on, people were murdered and raped. They'd have an APB out on you. They don't have one out on her, and they're not even looking for her. So how can you be in hiding and be complicit with the things like this? Did they have hunt clubs? Somebody tell me if this is true or not. I think I saw a post where they were suspecting that there were bodies on Epstein Island, that one of the billionaire's fantasies was to hunt people. That they had hunt clubs, like in some movie that was back in the 80s or something. Either way, this is very disturbing that your government's up to this. And Patricia, I see you asked the question, said, but did he know she was underage? That's a consideration. It absolutely is. But if you did a crime and you knew, so if I were Prince, what's his name? Prince Harry? Prince, I think Harry, whatever his name is, whatever the king's name is, the soon to be king, the Game of Thrones. If I found out that I had done that with somebody underage, oh my goodness, say I was 18, she was 17, I didn't know, I'd be at the court, I'd be at the public's mercy. I wouldn't be lying in interviews. I'd be like, look, y'all, I didn't know, blah, 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 blah. She lied, she had a fake license, she did this, she did that. I would tell the whole story. I'd be like, I was at the club, I was drinking, and I drank too much. I don't know how she got in. She must have had fake ID or something. Everybody in the club's supposed to be your age, because that's how I work in clubs, and got together. I'd have told the whole story. Please, I didn't know, I didn't. Because to me, that's what human beings do. It's called compassion. It's called empathy. It's called being sorrowful. It's called having a conscience. That's why I think these people are all psychopathic. When you do something wrong and you find out in the past that you hurt somebody, you want forgiveness. That's what human beings do. But the elites don't do that. They hide it. And people who know, I think, they hide it. It's honest. I'm not going to get on board with he didn't know. I think he probably knew. And either way, he's covering it up. You act like a psychopath, we got to treat you like a psychopath.
Meantime, an interview with Virginia Roberts Giuffre is scheduled to air Monday on the BBC, in which she says that both Epstein and Prince Andrew, quote unquote, know what happened as far as the allegations that she's put forward and others, and that she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew 3 times between 2001, when she was 17, and 2002 in London, New York, and Epstein's private island, Little St. James.
Wait a minute. Stop. I threw the C word out there. I got to take the C word back. I apparently didn't hear it correctly. I said consent. That's not consent. She said she was forced to have sex with him. That's rape. That's 100% full-blown, completely out there. It's not mental rape. It's not mental abuse. That's rape. Nobody connected with Epstein Island anywhere should be free. And I agree with Ivana. You mean to tell me y'all can find Arabs hiding in caves and you can't find this lady? You can find lady, you know exactly where she is. You mean to tell me, I'm gonna go with you on that one, because you mean to tell me that I always go to Jamal Khashoggi. You mean to tell me that this man was murdered in an embassy that's not in your country, that's in an embassy, one of the highest protected buildings on the planet, type of buildings, and now they got 3, 4, I don't know how many tapes and audio recordings of this man dying, and you mean to tell me you don't know where this woman's at? That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. It is a hint that your government is not there for you, your security agencies don't work for you, and they're not there for your safety. They're there, they are dragoons. They are the king's guard. They're there to guard the kings and the lords. Absolutely, they know where this woman is. The difference is she's not you. That's why she's free. She's not you. She's not a poor person. She's not somebody who has to work for a living and pay taxes. She is someone who is in bed with the powerful, and they're scared to death. Because there's always a double standard. There are two sets of laws. The people who write the laws and pay for the laws, and the people supposed to follow the laws. And obviously this whole Epstein Island thing is all involving people who are working with the people that are writing the laws.
Also dubbed Pedophile Island by the locals there in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Buckingham Palace has described the allegations, Manila, as false and without any foundation. But apparently after his interview with the BBC, Prince Andrew has essentially gotten the boot from Buckingham Palace and is now reportedly persona non grata in the royal family. So we'll continue to stay on this story and report the very latest. For now, that is the very latest. Manila, back to you.
Yeah, he's not persona non grata. No such thing. The elite don't turn on their own. Mother psychopaths don't turn on the baby psychopaths. They just keep feeding them like the baby birds. All right. What else we got? Always. And Epstein did not kill himself. Epstein is still alive. He's bopping around somewhere in Israel or whatever CIA island they got Bin Laden hanging out at, drinking Mai Tais on the beach. Because until I have evidence, I don't believe it. Let me see. Huawei turns to court after the FCC ban. I don't know what happened with Huawei and the FCC ban. Still, the whole Huawei thing, as far as I remember, it's just about, which government gets to spy on it. China's got theirs, and America's got Siemens and Cisco or whoever else. And it's just 5G. Everybody wants to control the 5G technology, and Huawei should get banned, but so should Siemens and Cisco. 5G should completely stop because we have no idea what it's for. We know 4G causes cancer, so there's no question 5G is going to cause massive amounts of cancer. All right. Important for China to engage with. I can tell you something on that though, because I was talking to 2 of my friends who are in the telecom industry, and it's just an understanding. Do your research. See, I thought cell phones, I thought their antenna was weak, right? That they broadcast and receive 4G in a very short space, and that the massive towers. This was an understanding that because I was in IT and I did network administration for a while, but I didn't understand this. That the tower was the powerful piece, that it was picking up that transmission locally and repeating it to the tower. And that's not how it works, apparently. Apparently, your cell phone broadcasts all the way to the tower. I didn't know that. So in transmit, it is a very dangerous device, more so than in receive. In receive, it's just receiving a signal that's being broadcast from the tower from miles away. But when you broadcast your cell phone, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what they told me, it actually has the power to transmit to that tower 2 miles away. And right now it's transmitting at 4G, and we know that causes cancer. Can cause cancer. Say it the right way. It doesn't always cause cancer, but it's transmitting all the way to that tower in 4G. So the new 5G phones that they've got on the front of the Best Buys and Amazon, all the websites you go to, the new 5G phones that you're not going to have an option of upgrading to, they're going to be broadcasting 5G all the way to that tower. That's concerning. That's a little more concerning than the thought that I had, which was apparently wrong, that these antennas on the cell phones are weak. They're not. It's a very powerful antenna. And when it's broadcasting, when you're talking on the phone, you are blasting 5G waves, which are every 2 inches? The frequency of the wave, 60 gigahertz through your brain. So to think about it, 4G, which the wavelength is every 2 feet, something to that effect. That wave goes through your brain. You get one wave in your brain if you're talking on your cell phone. With a 5G phone, you're talking on your phone, or even with a headset, you're sending multiple waves through your body. So you are affecting multiple systems, multiple groups of cells every time that wave does what it does going through your body. This is why the doctors are concerned. Important for China to engage with Taliban peace talks. It's important for every country to engage in Taliban peace talks, because the Taliban are not terrorists. They're people who live in their own country, and they're fighting invaders. We are the terrorists. Victoria's Secret cancels fashion show as gender norms explode. I get stupid on gender again. I almost need a laugh. I was gonna click on that for a minute. I'm looking at the comments real quick. Hey, it's funny to me. It's actually pretty hilarious that I'm gonna do it this way. It's funny to me what people take like so seriously nowadays. Like, oh, you can't talk about this. 7 billion different types of human beings on this planet. I'm not concerned with what you think you are. You can be anything you want to be. If you want to be man, woman, black, white, yellow, purple, polka dot, alien, monkey, whatever you want to be, I'm fine with. But don't call me none of that. I'm a god. You can be whatever you want to be. I'm a frequency temporarily spending time in a human body until I can get the hell away from you 98% monkeys. So I'm fine with what anybody else wants to be. Whatever identity you claim, I'm good with. But I'm not any of them. All right, let me see. Y'all talk about Thanksgiving. 2 hours west of DC. 2 hours west of DC, just over the West Virginia line. Okay, Citizen Deb, y'all in the snowstorm too, right? I have heard confession is good for the soul. It is good for the soul, Rebecca, and it's good for everything. It's not just good for the soul, it's good for the ecosystem, right? Like when we know what's going on, we can build a world that works better with the information we have. Confession is good for everything, especially if you were wrong. Let me see. Yep, snowing in Connecticut. Yep. Let me see. Oh, okay. She's saying they did have sex 3 times, and she says it was forced. Okie dokie then. Yeah, that kind of scares me a little bit too there. Let's see. The ruling class writes the laws for the underclass only, and this is very true, Rebecca. And we need to stop consenting to the ruling class. You're human beings. You don't need to be ruled. You don't need to be in order. You don't need order or orders. You need a government that says it's there for your benefit to act like it's there for your benefit. You can't have a president and sending billions of dollars overseas and a Congress and a Supreme Court and a federal government incorporated, and people are starving in your own country. After spending 2 months at my brother's house last winter, after he passed away, then finding out it was the 10th snowiest winter since this on record in Vermont's history. It's the last thing I want to see. Yeah. Well, we know the water's always rising, and I'm sorry to hear that, Citizen Debs. Water's always rising, and it's always there's always an ice age coming. We know an ice age is coming, which is part of the whole Atlantis thing, right? Bad times always come. The climates always change. We're either preparing for them or we're being stupid, fighting each other, wasting resources in ignorant discourse and banter, waiting for the extinction or the reduction of our species. So I think the weather is acting funky and funny, and I think that they're playing with it with geo-weapons. I think cow farts has its part. CO2 could have its part. Taxes won't stop it or help it, but we can utilize resources to protect people. All right, let me see. So Victoria's Secret's canceled their gender fluid fashion show. Oh, is that what it was? Also known as the Spot the Wiener Tournament. What? Because some secrets are hard to keep. What? All right, we got to click on that. Patricia said it. We got to click on that. I need a good laugh anyway. What are the monkeys fussing about?
Today, our gender norms are changing so fast that a lot of people have no idea how to act or what to say or do anymore. They've got whiplash. But our corporations seem to have no trouble adapting, including one of our most gender stereotypical companies, Victoria's Secret. For the past 18 years, the underwear company has aired their annual fashion show on TV. You know the one, where the skinny tall chicks wear lingerie and high heels and like bird feathers or angel wings or some other weird shit. That fashion show. For years, this has been on our TVs, and everyone has loved to watch and talk about how sexy those ladies are. But just in the past few years, the ratings have dropped dramatically. Lots of people in pop culture have been pushing back against the show, saying it's bad for women. And so now, the show is no more. That's it. They're calling it quits. Yep, in just a few years, Victoria's Secret has gone from a company parading mostly naked ladies on a runway that are supposed to be super sexy to a company of feminists. And they are hardly the only company making such a change.
What?
We've got Nike, a company that used to stand for being incredibly in shape and pushing your body to the max, now making workout clothes in extra large plus sizes. We've got a makeup company called CoverGirl using a boy on their cover ads. And it's not just the idea of female norms that are flipping on their head overnight. The razor company Gillette used to be all about being masculine men, but this year they ran a commercial with a father showing his transgender son how to shave. These are all giant corporations doing this, and make no mistake, they do not give a shit about trans rights or feminism. They only care about one thing, the bottom line, money. And to get it, they will fall in line with whatever they see as the latest trend as a way to get you to buy their shit.
Hold on, I'm upset. Why is anybody upset at any of this? I'm confused. Is this upsetting to somebody? This is what corporations are supposed to do. They're supposed to take whatever they can to make money. This is the purpose of a corporation. They're not a socialist group. Corporations are there to make money. And if that's through buying war, buying politicians, buying glyphosate sprayed out, buying the law to force farmers to grow genetically modified food over healthy things, that's what they're supposed to do. And you, as a citizen, supposed to say, I'm not on that boat. I don't want to support it. That's consent. That's the name of the video at the top. You're investing in consent. If you're buying from corporations and you don't like what they do, then you got some, I don't know. You need to sit on a sofa and talk to somebody, right? If you don't like slavery, what the hell were you doing on Black Friday running into a Walmart, tackling people, fighting for a television? You ain't got no business cheering Harriet in a theater, and you out there buying crap on small electronics that are taken from slaves and other nations and mined by slaves. I guess it's crazy to me. I don't get it why anybody's upset. It is a corporation. Their only job is to make money. That's it. You don't like Extinction? Then why are you buying from Amazon? Why do you even have an Amazon Prime account? You got issues that you need to talk to somebody about. I don't know why anybody, I'm not upset with this. I used to work for Victoria's Secret. Real story. Real story. I used to work for them when I was in college. Boy, I tell you what, this is why I don't answer the phone no more. I used to work in telemarketing. I did a little bit of IT, but at first I started in telemarketing. Oh my goodness. I used to work in a data center with 300 women, and there are about 5 guys and women. It was weird. It's weird. It was weird because back then you didn't have all these like dress codes and stuff. Like at a certain point in time, you could walk around in your slippers and rollers and robes. We had women working on the phone on the robes. It was difficult being a man working around 300 women. I tell you what though, it'll teach you a lot of respect. It'll teach you a whole lot of respect being surrounded by 300 women. And then late at night, people used to call Fredericks of Hollywood. No, you know what? Victoria's Secrets and Fredericks of Hollywood. They used to call late at night. Oh my goodness. Sometimes they didn't want to buy nothing. That's how I know freaks in the world. It's 2 a.m. in the morning and the freak ain't got nothing else to do, so you're going to call. Let me see if I can find a sexy voice so I can. I don't even want to say it. So, you know what? But hey, I'm not going down that road. I'm not going down that road. I'm not, that disturbed me a little bit. I was like, oh, would you like it red or blue? And in the background, you Oh, I don't like that one. You have it in a larger size. You know. Oh, I got some phone calls. Anyway, not gonna go down that road. Corporations are there to make money. Governments are there to secure power. If you make it okay for them to make money and secure power from you, that is what they're supposed to do. So I don't know why anybody would be upset at this.
Today, it's flipping gender norms. Tomorrow, it could be communism or who knows?
Well, now listen, lady. There's nothing normal about gender. Nothing at all. And you know that if you've ever been
I'm
single.
not saying that our changing gender norms is a good or bad thing, or even that it's short term.
Good. Glad you're not.
I mean, if you ask me personally, I think it's just a natural step in our evolution in becoming aliens. So I'm not even trying to bash on all the change. No.
Good.
In fact, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying if you truly care about an issue, you should be pissed off when the corporations co-opt it. Because make no mistake, they'll drop your issue like a hot potato as soon as they see the next trend on the horizon, just like they dropped those poor Victoria's Secret angels from the airwaves in the sky.
Well, I don't agree that you should be pissed off. I think you should just accept that's how your world works. That's how greed and corporations work. They're supposed to make money, and if you don't like them, then you just don't buy from them. That's simple. That part of capitalism works. The rest of it sucks. That part works really, really well. If you stop watching, you don't go to the runway, you start buying from another company, you start your own, then we're good to go. That's one part of capitalism that actually works well. Consent. If you consent to it, they'll do it. If you like slavery, keep buying from Amazon. If you don't like slavery, you need to change your buying habits, or you need to change your consumer wishes and needs. All right, let me see. What y'all got on comments? I'm running my mouth, spilling coffee on myself. Because they didn't want to have the overweight and transgender models. You know what? But it's good. You know what the thing is with that, Ivana, though, is that somebody else can start a company that's selling lingerie just for transgender and overweight. And then everybody can support them. Now, but of course, you got to be in a free market capitalist country, not a crony capitalist one, which is still really just a capitalist country. If you're big, you can regulate small people from starting corporations. So there is that. But yeah, I think that as long as you don't have big corporations buying law to make it harder for a small mom and pop transgender and overweight lingerie company to start up, we're good to go. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be upset with it. It's what it is. It's silly to celebrate the predatory motivated behavior. It is, but people are tribal, Kimberly, and that's why people get into it. They like tribal. They feel I don't know. People feel comfortable when they have a side to fight on. There's something weird in the human race about that. It has something to do with our evolution. They just feel safer in a group, and so they'll fall in with that. Anything predatory that allows them to be in a group and surrounded by others who think like them. All right. Florida's not great for raising kids in certain ways, but is great for people with grown children and no children. I think every state in the United States is bad for raising children. I think we suck at prioritizing what's important. We suck at prioritizing the next generation. And if you have an oligarchy, it's a bad idea to raise kids. It's a bad idea to raise kids in an oligarchy because they will force things on your children that you don't want on them and in them. They literally don't let you be a parent. Because if the corporation has something they need to sell to inject in your kid or force on your kid or force your kid to buy or force your kid to be, then you're going to pay a hefty cost trying to be the parent of a child in an oligarchy where they claim to own the people. All right, let's see, what else we got? Anything important here? California DMV made millions from selling driver data. Yeah, well, they're supposed to. It's an oligarchy, and they're going to work to make as much money as they can. Corporations in bed with government. So that's normal. That's supposed to happen. A debate. Does Obama still have political clout? Of course he does. Hell yeah, he does. Because y'all started saying Michelle had the ding-a-ling thing. And so as long as y'all did that and that flocked people to support them. Heck yeah, he still has. He's going around getting $400,000 per speech from banks. The big banks he's supposed to be fighting. Hell yeah, he has clout. He has people who are cheering for him. Same way Trump does. No different. No different. To me, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. They get in office. They're supposed to be anti-war. They start killing, murdering, shooting people, genocide and slavery, and everybody's cheering for them. This could be fun because that'll bring the Obama people in. Like, he's talking about Obama.
A new article in Politico claims to reveal what is one of the most important trips a Democratic candidate has to make. Well, it's not to Iowa or South Carolina. It's actually the Washington, D.C. office of former President Barack Obama. Now, there Obama gives advice and keeps an eye on the candidates and where the Democratic Party is headed. It is said that Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and more have met with Obama on their path to announcing their candidacy. Now, the same report even claims Obama would be willing to directly stop Bernie Sanders if he becomes a clear frontrunner. So what does this say about the Democratic Party, and how much power does President Obama still have? Well, we bring it up.
Oh, it says a lot. It says that they're just like the Republicans. They're looking for a god. They're looking for somebody to worship. They have blind issues. They have blind following issues. They blindly follow psychopaths and killers, that it's okay to kill children. It's okay to drop thousands and thousands and thousands of bombs on babies if you got brown skin and you're the DNC. It's not really rape and destruction and genocide when you're in their political party. That's what it says. It says that the party has no ethics. They're just like the Republicans. They have no morals and zero ethics. That's what it says.
In our 360 view, we turn to our political panel. Former Florida Democratic Party Chair Mitch Caesar and Ned Ryan, CEO of American Majority. Thanks for joining me, gentlemen, on this Thanksgiving Eve.
It says that they're just like the Trump voters. That's what it says. That's what it says that you're samesies. It says that y'all should all be friends and love each other and go and play fantasy football and fantasy politics together. Because they're all the same people. The presidents all do the same thing. You pick your team and you go with it. That's all it says. It says you're just like them. It says impeachment is pointless because whatever the next one does, whoever votes for them are going to be ignorant about it too. Because that's just what people do, I guess, in artificial scarce societies where they hate each other and scared of each other.
Thanks, Scotty.
So, Mitch, I'm going to start with you because this is obviously in your ballpark. How powerful is the Obama name today in the Democratic Party?
I think he's pretty powerful because he represents, obviously, an ex-president who's still popular, especially all presidents are popular when they leave office. But he also is the theoretic owner and manager of the Obama coalition, and he's been very, very smart to not endorse anybody in the primary. So when the nominee's chosen, he'll have much more power to bring all the different groups and that make up the Democratic Party together. And the longer he waits, the more appropriate and the more powerful his involvement becomes. So it's very smart politics. He speaks out sparingly. He gave a big speech the other day, which I'd be happy to talk about, that I think resonated with a lot of voters.
Well, and that's the thing, and I agree. As a unifier, someone's got to do it at the end of a contentious primary. That being said, Ned, do Republicans see the fact that he has not endorsed his former vice president also as a sign of a lack of support at this stage?
Well, I don't think he's going to endorse anybody in the primary, Scotty. I think Mitch is right. I think he's going to hold off on that. But partly it's because what does he have to endorse? He's got a bunch of socialist political pygmies all topped off by creepy Uncle Joe. And I don't think he thinks that Joe can actually win it all. And I think he's going to keep his powder dry. But I have to tell you, Scotty, I think it's kind of ironic and somewhat funny that Democrats are putting so much weight on an Obama endorsement when Obama is, in fact, the reason that we have Trump. Trump was a rejection of Obama. He was a rejection of a third term of Obama with Hillary Clinton. And so it's amazing to me. It's almost like they're living in this nostalgic 2008 era in a world that doesn't exist anymore. They don't realize that the world has shifted. And the last time that Obama had serious clout, that world doesn't exist anymore. And people rejected that globalist viewpoint. And America First national populism is here to stay. And so, I mean, they can go meet with him in his West End office here in the D.C. area, but I'm not really sure what that gets him. And in fact, when you start to look at even these Emerson and Rasmussen polls showing Trump getting 35% support in the black community, I'm not even sure he really shores up the black community enough to prevent Trump getting reelected. So I'm not sure what they're hoping for, but I kind of think they're living in fantasy world, as most of the nominees in the primary actually are.
But at the same time, Mitch, I mean, to Ned's point, President Obama, though, did get elected twice, and he was able to mobilize a whole base of Democrats that, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, has not been able to be mobilized yet, it seems like, to get excited about a candidate. There was an excitement around President Obama. I'll be the first to say in 2008, people were really excited about his presidency, even in 2012.
See my excitement? Right here. I'm excited. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep a straight face. I love people in their politics. I don't love people in their politics. I do not at all. Yeah, so I'm not even gonna go through it. We did the Obama thing for so long. I'm gonna let them talk because this is important to people, I guess. But I was looking at some of the comments. Looked like our brother Tony Smith got blocked on Obama's page. Well, it's because he says truthful things, and I think it's funny. I hopefully Obama personally blocked him. I hope I hope it was personal. I hope it was, but it wasn't. It was somebody fake. It was faux Obama. It was a fake Obama. It was one of his staffers or something. That's good. Over what was it about? Because Tony says a lot of truth. He did a great one on the Federal Reserve this weekend. Obama's Facey page for posting Obama's Common Core was the worst thing that's ever happened in the public school industry of all time. Well, right, Rebecca, hell yeah, because Tony got some, what is that called? Misogynization, something. What is that called? Quadriloom, something. He got some darkness in him. All right, he came from a dark continent somewhere. He got something in him. He got something, and you cannot have people who look like they're minorities on Obama's page saying nothing negative. Nope, I've never seen. Listen, and I appreciate Brother Tony for going out there and doing that. I have to say, I have never been on Barack Obama's page, and I never will be. Okay, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I haven't been on Alan Key's page, and it never going on David Steele page. I ain't never been on Cory Booger's page. I'm not going on none of their pages. All right, I know what psychopaths are. I used to smell them in DC all the time. I grew up around psychopaths. I have no interest in it. Okay, normal people don't murder people. That's my statement. Normal people don't murder people and go eat cereal. All right, get on Air Force One and go dance at the beach. That normal people, when they find out that their drones and killed, 8,000 people, they have issues. When normal people, when they kill one person in a car accident, they don't stay in the public domain. They go hide somewhere. They have a conscience. So yeah, I'm not even following. Ooh, somebody talking about the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act, which both of them love. Trump and Obama love taking your rights. Y'all should keep voting. I agree with Ty that this will go the way it's supposed to go. Y'all keep voting for these psychopaths, taking your rights, rolling out the police state. This makes sense. We gonna get exactly what we deserve. All right, it's coming. We're gonna get exactly what we deserve. And yeah, Jennifer said Michelle is popular too. She sure is. She got out there. You know what? Michelle actually got me a little more excited than Obama did. And it's only because she was out there for a minute when the camera was turned on. She got down in the garden, pretend like she was growing some organic food. I agreed with that. That made me excited. Absolutely nothing else made me excited. Nothing else. They're big banking police state people. I'm not interested in slavery, mass incarceration, or war. All right. This is why I don't do politics. I don't do politics because people overlook the big issues for the little issues. They overlook the root problems for the emotional side effect, ego-driven ones. All right. That's why I don't do politics, but we'll let it. So anyway, Patriot Act passed by both corporations, same coin, not in any of our pockets. Exactly, Kia. And we have people starving in our country. We literally have people starving with children in our country, and they got time and money to pass Patriot Acts. They got millions and billions to put over to watching people. chasing fantasy terrorism that they paid for and they gave the guns and the training and the arms to. It's insanity. They got money to watch people. They got money for the robotic dogs to chase and watch people in the streets, but they ain't got no money to help people. Not me.
12-something Republicans, Ned, they didn't have in either of those races either. So that being said, Mitch, you know, at this point going forward, how much is he going to be able to help when he does endorse? Is he going to bring that base, that excitement with him when he chooses to get involved with one specific candidate?
Without question, I think it will be relevant, and that's why he's holding back. I have to say that we are living in an alternate reality-based situation. If anybody thinks Donald Trump's going to get 35% of the black vote, or 25, or 20, or 15, that is a Twilight Zone number. I do believe that he's going to be very, very effective because he's going to be kind of the oracle, bringing folks together. And I think he can put that base together because the greatest unifier historically of the Republican Party today is Donald Trump. But that same Donald Trump is the greatest unifier of the Republican Party. I think President Obama can articulate it, brings normalcy, brings coolness, and I think a lot of swing vote.
I disagree. I don't know, y'all. We're doing some speculation here. We're doing some speculation. I'm going to speculate. I think Trump is going to pull a lot of the votes from the blacks. I do. I honestly do. I don't know that he's going to pull 35. I don't know if he'll pull 25. But I know that he's going to pull them. You know why? Let me show you why. I'm going to show you why. We did that whole Killer Mike talk. We did the whole Killer Mike. Nope, that's not her. We did that whole Killer Mike talk, right? Where you got the black Republicans up there, and you got the black Democrats. So you got the Democrat side of the plantation and the Republican side of the plantation. There are a whole lot of black people like, you know what? We didn't have it with the Democrat form of slavery. We're going to try out the Republican form of slavery. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Don't trust your television. Your television is lying to you. I know it's lying to you. What is her name? This woman's name is Candace Owens. Candace Owens, that's her name. She's the one that's, she's behind Trump 100%. Don't make me, you know what? We're going to do Killer Mike. We're going to go with Killer Mike. I want to show you all this again because I thought it was important. What was that called? It was called the Revolt Summit. That's what it was called. They were called the Revolt Summit. It was not a summit, and it was not a revolt. It wasn't either one of them things. But right in there, Killer Mike just had to explain to everybody. Let me show you this, in case y'all haven't seen this.
The results strongly support that these beings are not closely related to any.
We could do it.
People aren't dumb. So when we're talking about semantics and words and what people say, black people, we're about vibrations. Why are we here? We're here because Puff invited us. That's music. That's vibrations. We know when somebody's saying something.
He's trying to sell
we know when something ain't right. You know when you taste that potato salad and something.
This is my thought. This is my thought. I don't care if you destroy the Republican or Democratic Party because at one time, we're going to lock this back down. So I'll tell you when America was great.
Mike has been sitting here listening to all of y'all talk. Mike, go ahead, brother. Brother, go ahead. Go ahead. Black America has been moving forward generation by generation.
So what you got? So I'm in there. You got the blacks on this side and the blacks on that side. And they're fighting back and forth. This is how I know he's going to get a lot more votes than you think. Not even get one for me, because I ain't voting for neither one of the plantation. I think plantations and slavery is a bad idea. I don't have a master. But listen what Killer Mike said.
How is that so? More self-sufficient black people. This program was brought to you by a black man.
Listen.
You understand that?
And it was happening before Trump became president.
My children, black people ain't moving forward.
We have been declining since the 1960s in every major statistic. We are not moving forward. Do not let him tell you that lie.
Wait. Hold on, Katrina.
Are your kids in public
Mike has been sitting here listening to all of y'all talk. Mike, go ahead, brother. Brother, go ahead.
Niggas.
Go ahead.
Niggas. Stop it.
Stop.
Everybody, hush.
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 Listen.
Listen.
I'm about to give you the secret to what the fuck y'all are witnessing.
What y'all watching?
What you niggas, N-E-G-U-S of the royal kind, and niggas, N-I-double-G-S, what y'all are seeing right now are free people arguing over who got the best master. oh yeah.
They ain't like that. See, look at the crowd. So, they don't like it. Nope.
We gonna go back to silence.
See, people don't like slavery. When you start calling them on it, when you start saying, y'all out there watching Hillary, y'all watching Harriet, everybody happy watching Harriet, she freeing the slaves, and y'all fighting over who got the best master. They don't like that. So yeah, I disagree. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing. I'll post the link. It was actually a good debate. If you want to study the blacks, I think you should watch it. It was a great debate though. So I disagree. I think that there are a lot more people. There are a lot of statistics that Candace put out there. She explained to you that the Democrats don't like you. That the reason why Black lives don't matter is because Hillary Clinton wrote a crime bill. All right, let me see. That's why I can't affiliate. My light just died. There we go. I can't affiliate with anybody. I'm not affiliated with anybody. People keep asking me. I'm a god. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with the 98% monkey. I can't get this light to stand up. Hang on, I'll look at y'all's comments. We'll go back to it. But I disagree. I think Trump is going to get a lot of the black vote. I think he is, because I think a lot of people are starting to see through the whole, because didn't Hillary say a bunch of people want her to run or something like that? She posted something, said, I don't want to run, but they want me to run. It's like, yeah, darling, they wanted you to run off the planet. They want you to run into the prison. So I disagree. I think they're going to get some of the votes. You disagree too. Lots of folks say like Ty are leaning towards conservatism. I know. Did you see that, Rebecca? Did you watch Ty? Ty, I don't know. I don't think Ty gonna vote. I don't think Ty gonna vote, but I know this. Ty gonna slam the left. I know this. I can smell it. You can smell us in the air. It's coming. The election coming. Ty, because Ty was like, you know what? Because he was like, we are not doing hate on the conservatives. Right now, I'm dealing with the ignorant liberals. And he was just nailing them. Boom, 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 boom. All morning. I was trying to get in the shower, Rebecca. I couldn't even get in the shower. I got in the shower and Ty was playing in the background. It was hilarious. But people are sick. People are fed up. They're fed. If you think you're right, they're going to show you that you're wrong. They're going to show you. Now, I think it's going to be the same reason. It's not going to be because he racist. I don't think Ty going to vote, or the other blacks are going to vote for Trump. I think it's just because they hate you. They don't like you. They don't like you. You know, Trump, you know where Trump got him? Did I show y'all the slavery thing? Did y'all see Trump freeing the slave? I know he's going to get a lot more blacks than what y'all think he's going to get. Let me show you this. This was, I don't know if I can find it. This is when Trump freed the slaves. Did y'all one time at band camp? One time at band camp, Hillary Clinton and the Black Caucus and Bill Clinton wrote a crime bill, and then Black lives didn't matter no more. Not that they really mattered. Not that white lives ever mattered either, or Hispanic lives. But they mattered a hell of a lot less after they wrote the crime bill. And they blamed the Republicans for it. It's the craziest thing. But then Trump, what was it called? The First Step Act? First Step Act speech. Oh, it was not a dry eye. Let me see if I can find this. I'm going to find it. They done brought him up on stage and had the darlings tell this story about being incarcerated by the Democrats and Republicans. Did y'all see it? This is what I'm saying. And let me say, look, if you had a member of my family in Democrat/Republican prison, and the next president came along, freed my daughter, my niece, my nephew, my cousin, that was going to be in prison for another 20 years, and they were a political prisoner for some dried plants or something, yeah, you actually might get just an angry vote out of me. You might get a vote out of me. Let me show you this. Y'all got to see it, because listen, I'm disagreeing. I think Trump going to pull a lot of, I don't do fantasy politics, and I don't like fantasy football. I have no interest, but I think he's going to pull a lot more than what you think he's going to pull. That's what I think. Don't watch the TV.
But they tried and they failed. After years of waiting, we assembled a historic coalition, and it was indeed historic.
All right, I don't know about the
party lines and stepped out of their comfort zone to make. I want to thank all the political leaders that crossed party lines and stepped out of their comfort zone to make this happen. So many, like myself, have been displaced in the criminal justice system for so long.
Tell it. But before she say anything, I got to be clear. Let me be clear. I am not promoting Trump as a master. I'm not. I can't do it. I can't promote the other side neither. I'm being like a commentator. That's what it is. I'm commenting on the taters. That's all I'm doing. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying that this guy said he was going to free some slaves, and he freed a hell of a lot more slaves than any Democrat that I've ever seen. This is what you need to watch out for. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But I stand here today to say, because of the First Step Act, we're able to move towards the second step. I want to thank the president for giving me another leash on life.
Let me ask you, what do you think? Who do you think she gonna vote for? Who do you think she gonna vote for? The man that just freed her from prison, from slavery? Or you think she gonna run to the, well, I don't know, it depends. The Democrats, Republicans, do they let inmates vote after they get freed, or they take their voting rights for life? I forgot. But you know what she gonna do. And did y'all see him be Big Willie? I'm gonna let her talk for a little bit, and I'm gonna shut up. You know what? Let's let her talk. Let's let her talk, because this is important. Anti-slavery is important. Anti-popular slavery.
If it wasn't for you, Mr. President, I'll still be serving 5 years in prison. And I'll be forever grateful for that. I just want society to know that this is one bright spot that we can stand on. That's not a issue that has to be forgotten about. It's one that has been focused on by not only just the political leaders, but the organizations that fight, that trudged to Washington. That was our voice then when we didn't have a voice to be heard. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say that in order to take the first step, you have to be willing to do things that you're not comfortable with. You'll have to be willing to have conversations that you're not willing to have. For decades, the criminal justice conversation has been a hard conversation to have. Almost non-existent. It was all about the political leaders thinking about who can be tough on crime, who can lock up the most and throw away the key. It dehumanized. But I'm standing here today saying this is what a second chance looked like. I'm determined not to let my past define my future, but to continue to move forward day by day, step by step, and not forget about the ones that's left behind. There's still work to do, but what I can say is, on this day, a change has been made, and we're looking forward to things to come in the near future. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Benedict College, for having me. Thank all the political leaders and the organizations that fought for not just myself, but others like me. First Step Act not only freed thousands of people, but it helped rehabilitate us to have us ready to integrate back into society and live a comfortable life. And I just want to say thank you again.
Being incarcerated, separated from my family for 22 years, almost 22 years, was one of the hardest challenges of my life. When one person goes to prison, it impacts not only that person, but their family, their communities, their society. For generations, we are impacted. Criminal justice reform is not a partisan issue. We are human beings. I represent, as you see my face here, see the faces of the ones that you will never see unless we come together. Unless we come together to act, to cause other families to be reunited the way that I was reunited with my family. It was only by the grace of God that our president's heart was touched by my story and signed papers to commute my sentence.
Here with us today is Jerome Brown, who served 11 years in prison And now as a master barber, oh good, I can have my hair properly cut. Listen. Lindsay, do you have a scissor on you by any chance? Finally, I can get a good haircut. I've been criticized for a long time. Now it's doing really well. There's more than 500 clients.
So what do you think? What do you think? Nah, I don't know about the whole token thing. Won't go back and forth. This, that, or the other. I know this. I know they're not telling the truth. He paraded the slaves up there, freed them. Last time y'all didn't had the slaves on the stage, y'all was selling them. Something about to change. Oh no, he gonna bring the brother. I didn't watch the whole thing. It looks like he brought a brother up there too. And he gonna let him cut his hair. Hang on, but Trump didn't.
Perhaps more importantly, check out my hair, see what you can do for me.
First, I would just like to say thank you to the president for giving everybody a chance. Because a lot of times there are people in prison and you don't really know like their goals or their, what they want in life unless they have a chance.
On criminal justice reform, trade, the economy, and so much else, our American first agenda.
That's not, hang on. That's not what I wanted to show you.
And is focused on expanding opportunity for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For decades, politicians of both parties put their own interests ahead of your interests and put the interests of foreign nations ahead of the interest of our nation.
Very true. But he does the same thing too, so let's not. The Federal Reserve has no interest in you doing anything for Americans. That's criminal activity, and that's what they killed JFK for. But so I disagree with it. I think he's going to pull a lot of the Blake vote. I think he's going to pull a lot of Blakes. I don't know if it'll be 20, 30%. I know he's going to pull a whole lot of people because you know what? That was the first step. It's going to be a second step. And so if you got people in prison and he's the only person who talked about freeing slaves that literally went in and freed a whole bunch of them, that's Harriet, right? Let me find, if I can find a picture of Harriet Tubman, I'll put Harriet on the stage right next to him. But and then I won't show it because I showed it before, is at the end of it, they had, he did a Big Willie. Did I tell you about the Big Willie? At the end of it, he basically said, you know what? And then y'all tell me, your friends that are in prison that I need to free, and I'm going to free them too. He pulled a Big Willie. At the end of it, he told him he was going to free even more of them. That's how I know. He's playing for keeps. Now, mind you, once again, I think you're only allowed to do within what the Federal Reserve will allow you to do. They let you have a few slaves go. He's not in the war on drugs or anything, but I think he's pulling a lot more than what people say he's going to pull. Fantasy politics where it actually makes a difference. And only a few people's lives who the president or Congress is. The vast majority of us are still slaves on a leash. That's what somebody said a minute ago. Who said that? A leash on life. Somebody said that. I thought I saw the comment. Yeah, Rebecca. What did she say? A leash on life? It's still a leash. Because Harriet, I said people didn't understand it, Rebecca. I posted it the other day. I said Harriet Tubman actually didn't free anybody from slavery from a principle perspective. She freed people from a version of slavery, a flavor of slavery, and then put them in. Then they went into society slavery. So they went for unsociety slavery. They went from one type of slavery to a different type, one type of forced labor to a different type of forced labor. So he's not truly freeing the slaves. He's not truly taking the leash off. He's just taking that particular choke collar off, the choke chain. Y'all remember the choke chain? And he put like a furry, another leash, and this leash just says Federal Reserve. It's like, so yeah, we're not freeing slaves here, but not from the principle of slavery. We're freeing them from a particular type of slavery. So I think he's going to pull a bunch of votes. Rebecca's not identifying with the Antichrist anymore. That's a good thing. Let me see. Convicts can never vote. Okay, that's what it is. So they're convicted, and once they get out, they still can't vote. But the people who are happy to have her out are definitely going to vote in an interesting way, I would think. She's his token to get black votes. Thanks for helping her Trump, but there's much more you can do to help the people. Totally true, Kimberly, and she is a token, and we're all tokens to a degree, but that's an effective token. If you listen to the whole thing, they were up on stage, she almost broke down to some tears. It's a powerful token. But once again, he can end the war on drugs. He's not going to. He could dismantle the crime bill, and he's not going to do that. But he'll promise that. And the the Act 2, second act, second step act. So anyway, I don't spend too much time on that. Let me see. New world unorder. Leisha's got to go. Exactly, Rebecca. We need a new world unorder. We need to stop putting people into different versions of slavery. So I disagree with this guy. I think he's actually going to pull some of the black vote, but I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to watch. I don't really care. So when election time comes, I'll probably be eating a tomato pie and maybe, I don't know, watching Stargate or something, but I'm not watching the election because I really don't care who wins.
Voters, whatever number they may be, are just really, really wanting back the old days of level-headedness. So I think there's no question he is that. And I do want to give kudos to Ned. He's really picking up on the White House stuff when he talks, abusing phrasing like political pygmies. It sounds just like President Trump, who was in my backyard just last night with some of the stuff he uses. So frankly, I give Ned a lot more benefit of the doubt.
Well, Ned, that's it, and I want you to respond to that, but he mentions that backyard rally in Broward County, Democrat-held county, and it was sold out, one of the biggest rallies that President Trump has had. So does that show that Trump's got the popularity still in Florida and other places that people aren't expecting him to have?
Well,
I think so, Scott.
Let me give that to Ned. Yeah, Ned, sorry.
No, I think so, Scotty. I mean, you see all these rallies are completely sold out, even the one in Minneapolis, in a blue state that I think Trump can actually win in 2020.
Because he's charismatic.
But I will say this to Mitch's comments about the black vote. Even if Trump wins 15% of it, which I think is probably more realistic to agree with Mitch, but if he wins 15%, it's going to be a landslide for Trump. And you talk about swing voters and independent voters. If Democrats continue down this path of impeachment, you see this becoming a very negative thing for them with independent voters. I don't care if they've got 20 Obamas. They're not going to be able to win the independent vote because Obama's not on the ticket, and they've...
All right, I'm sorry. That's all I got. That's all I got. I can't watch. It's politics. It doesn't really matter. Trump is going to win. There's nothing you can do to stop that. He will not be impeached, and he will win. And the fact of the matter is, he makes corporations more profit than anybody the Democrats have. He is charismatic, and as long as people are charismatically following a leader, they're not watching the leader. So he has the same charisma that the Obama has on his side, got on his side. And as long as you got somebody charismatic in office, they'll overlook slavery, they'll overlook war, they'll overlook bombs and what corporations do, poisoning our water, our food, our air, oxygen. So he's going to win. He's going to be in term for 8 years. The Democrats are going to pick someone that just scares the hell out of the Republicans, and they're going to put him in or her in. And then he'll be afraid for 8 years. And if we're still here and we're not extinct by then, the right's going to find somebody else that pisses you off even more. That's how the fantasy world works. All right. The world of fantasy politics, they're actually there for us, that you actually have a federal government instead of a corporation pretending to be, because the Constitution was suspended in 1933. And that rhymed. All right, let me go down. Let me see if there's anything else. I thought I saw the robot dogs on here. What is this? Wexit? What is Wexit? Do Western Canadians want to secede? Hell yeah, this is a good idea. Let's click on this. What's going on in Canada?
A group that wants Western Canada to separate from the Canadian Federation is actually gaining steam. Exit Canada, whose slogan is "The West Wants Out," has become the go-to movement for those frustrated with the Trudeau government. Now, as well as the major decline in Canada's oil industry. RT's Alex Mihailovich joins us in Toronto, where he's been following this story. So, Alex, we have a lot of exits going on right now. Mirroring the UK's Brexit movement, Wexit, which combines Western and Exit, spans Canada's province of British Columbia, Alberta. But the center of Wexit seems to be oil-rich Alberta. What is the basis of this movement?
That's awesome.
Well, when you look at the Wexit movement itself, it really came out right after our election last month when Justin Trudeau was re-elected. And there seems to be a lot of frustration in the West over that. Here's a map that speaks volumes to what I'm saying. Look, now, wherever there's dark blue here on this map, As you can see, Alberta's completely covered. It goes into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and British Columbia. That's where people voted for the Conservatives. So it's an overwhelming majority in Western Canada that voted Conservative. Obviously, their voice wasn't heard, and Justin Trudeau won re-election because the rest of Canada voted for him. Now, many people in that part of the country are frustrated. They feel like the feds have turned their backs on them, and a lot of this comes down to pipelines. So the fact that Alberta and Saskatchewan, I mean, these are oil-rich provinces, especially Alberta, they wanted to keep pushing this industry forward, the oil industry. And we know since Trudeau's been in government since 2014, we've seen a lot of this change. This whole push for pipelines has slowed down. The oil industry has slowed down. And with that, of course, frustration.
Wait. What does that say? Does that say make Canada great again? I love this. I think this is a great idea. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I like it, Rebecca. This is New World Unorder. This is what happens when the slaves are out of order. This is a good idea. I want Texas to secede. I want Boston to secede. Louisiana, West Canada, North Canada, East Canada. When we got secessions happening, we got Catalonia in Italy. We got Hong Kong and China. If we can get part of Russia broken off, this is a new world unorder. When people are tired of having masters, we're getting somewhere. The smaller the voting, central banking blocks of ignorance, the better. But it's not gonna happen. I love it, but it's not gonna happen. Y'all need to call the Federal Reserve. You need to call the central bankers. You need to call them and ask them. They basically print all the money, give all the loans to all the corporations. They fund all the politicians. The people that would make this possible have to agree, and the Federal Reserve has to go along with it. And if you haven't talked to them yet, then you're just talking. But that's interesting. So it says make Alberta great again. Woo! Boy, I tell you what, it's a little infectious.
This part of the country used to be the bread and butter of all of Canada. And they feel, well, we contributed to Canada. Why isn't Canada helping us right now? So as you can see, a lot of people are getting involved in this whole Wexit thing. It's a part of the population that a lot of people are saying is very Trump-like the supporters in the States. There's this.
No, it's actually Bugs Bunny-like. I was thinking, you wascally wabbit, you're gonna Wexit.
Make Alberta great again. These caps are going around, as well as the fact that it seems that the far right is also attracted to this movement. So some people are putting parallels to what's happening in the States to what's happening in Western Canada as well.
Well, and also around the world, there's obviously a lot of discussions going about people that want to change how things are. But that being said, many point to the decline of the oil industry, as you mentioned, as a main reason for the separatist movement. So what can you tell us about that angle?
Well, that's exactly those pipelines, right? So a lot of people believe if we were to build more pipelines out of Alberta, this would help not only create jobs, but to bring more prosperity to the province itself. But others disagree. They're saying that Alberta can't blame the feds for this, for a sunset industry. We know that oil, globally speaking, has been in a decline for the past few years. And generally, consumption is lower and prices have gone down as well. That has contributed to the loss of over 53,000 jobs since 2000.
Oh, Lord. I got to show you something. I think I posted it the other day. In terms of the oil and Nikola Tesla and free energy and EMF, did y'all hear about Black Nikola Tesla? Did y'all hear about him? Blackola Tesla? Did y'all hear about Blackola Tesla? I got to show you Blackola Tesla. I posted the other day. Zimbabwe, apparently, and this isn't new, Blackola Tesla been around for a minute. Blackola Tesla made an electric car that recharges itself from EMF. Let me show you this. These people are
Want a hassle-free family vacation?
And oil and fossil fuels is a useless thing. Look at this.
A brief
Blackola
trip
Tesla.
into the future with inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso. He's claiming a scientific breakthrough with this green energy technology, an electric car which he says converts radio frequencies into energy.
The powertrain, we did it in-house, which makes it the first electric vehicle in the world that drives without needing recharging systems. On the greener power off-grid machine, it's very unique. For the first time, energy is being generated using a radio frequency and without moving parts.
Chikumbutso is not the typical
using radio frequency and without moving parts. So it's a car that recharges itself. It's a generator that recharges itself, and a helicopter. This guy is, where is he? Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. Now, of course, this video was in 2015, so he's probably dead in the ground, buried. The CIA done took care of him. The GOP and the DNC and the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and central banks who have kept people in conflict, argument, Wexits, Brexits, left, rights, fighting over fossil fuels, blowing up nations. They keep everybody in conflict. But this is huge. But he's dead. He has to be, because they wouldn't let him live this long.
Scientist, he dropped out of school aged 14 and says he's developed his blueprints through research and visions from God. A showroom in Harare showcases his prototypes. A helicopter that operates using any one of the 5 fuels, including paraffin, a drone and a household transformer that he says can multiply power 100-fold. But he says breaking his disruptive technology into the world has not been easy. He's failed to patent his work.
That's why we end up finding nuclear scientists, electromagnetic professors, so that they can assist us on the patent process. But as you are aware that in patents, anything that violates the laws of physics is not an industrial applicable solution. They classify it as a perpetual motion device.
Did you hear that? This is what we talk about. This is the 1,000 energy patents that your Democrats and Republicans and your U.S. government are keeping secret, that the engineers behind the patents of all the perpetual motion devices and the highly efficient energy propulsion mechanisms, that they applied for patents and the patent office kicked them back because they have that industrial clause, that clause that says that you can't make a power propulsion or power generation device is something like 20% more efficient than what the standard market one is, and then they classify it. So the funny part behind this, here's the kicker. This is why Democrats and Republicans, it's so funny. That's why politics, man, y'all are funny with this fantasy, is that a continuous perpetual motion device is infinitely more efficient than everything on the market. So it'll never be 20%, it'll never be 80%, it'll never be 800%, it'll never be 1,000%, it'll never be 5%. It is always significantly higher than what will be allowed to be legal and not classified in your government. What was the act, the Energy Act that made that the requirement? It was some energy act in the 1950s or whatever. They said that it would destabilize the world governments to create a solar panel that was more than 20% efficient, or a water generator or air generator or turbine. And so they literally are the gatekeepers keeping the world locked in conflicts over fossil fuels for the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the families that run all of this. So of course it's hard getting your patent, because the nation, Zimbabwe, all the rest of them, they all have sellout governments that are beholden to the Western governments. And their hold on power is that places like Africa, Latin America don't have free energy. They have to come to the West. And so when you come to the West for those things, because the West has all those things, and they got the weapons to take all those things, because they literally keep you in the third world through like the climate change accords and all this other ignorant stuff outside of conflict, minerals, through confessions of an economic hitman type stuff, they won't let it pass. That's why I laugh at climate change. Y'all don't get it. I just laugh because it's funny to me. It's funny to me that the Western governments that are promoting that CO2 and fossil fuels are causing climate change are hiding these technologies from you. But what I loved about this story is that he did it the Nikola Tesla way. That's why I call him Nikola Tesla. He did it through EMF radio. The planet literally is an inner generating machine. That's what planets are.
Luigi Kupenala, a South African-based Angolan businessman, has poured millions into the project, but now believes it's time to commercialize. He says the Angolan government and a Brazil private energy player have signed up to buy some of their products, but that other investors don't generally believe anything credible can come out of Africa.
We just sell from our skin color. We don't believe on ourselves. But obviously, a new generation has another responsibility to change this kind of paradigm to another level, whereby we have to capitalize on our abilities in Africa.
Zimbabwean scientists who spoke to the SABC also expressed skepticism, but Chikumbutso brushes the naysayers aside. He says he's determined to ensure that his God-given gift brings energy to light up the continent and put Zimbabwe on the technological map. Shingai Nyoka, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Not gonna happen.
In no way, shape, or form.
Not as long as you got Democrats and Republicans at the helm of this craziness. But this is what every time I see y'all out there protesting pipelines and oil and all of that stuff, I think of that and what Susan just posted right over there, right there about Bob Lazar, right? Because you got UFOs flying all over this world. You got UFOs flying. People see the UFOs everywhere. And I think most of them are just your royal families, your cabal elites flying around having fun. And they got the militaries that have those. And some of them might actually be some aliens. But the vast majority is technology they don't want to share with you. And anytime any of these inventors pop up, they make sure that they pop out. Because he popped up in 2015 and I can't find an update from him. So as far as I know, they pulled a JP Morgan on them. They just basically, they either defunded them or killed them and threw them in a hole somewhere. All right, let me see if there's anything else. I wanted to touch the robot dog. Was that a new video talking about that? Ooh, Johnson & Johnson's in the news. What did Johnson & Johnson do other than poison people? No, they're not the one who hid the cure for Alzheimer's. Who was that, Pfizer? All right, what do we got? There's a robot dog. Police robot dogs designed to be cute and familiar. Ooh, let's look at that. Seeing how that's on the
As
topic.
holiday shopping ramps up, you may see more robots and drones delivering packages. We've heard about this. The same-day bot is a new device from FedEx that is already roaming the streets of New York. But if you get in trouble or family arguments get a little too rowdy at the Thanksgiving table, there's a robot you do not want to see. Check out this video from a TechCrunch conference. Here's a Boston Dynamics robot tested with the Massachusetts State Police. Now, the company's CEO says the robot can open doors and it will be controlled by an officer in a safe location. The idea is it can be used for dangerous situations, such as a hostage negotiation. But I have to wonder, does it stop there? Well, to talk more and to return to legal and media analyst Lionel. Lionel, I watched this video and sure, it looks really cool and really much advanced in tech, but I just have to think of movies like Terminator and Doomsday and all of these horrible things where robots literally take over our lives. So as a citizen, I just have to wonder, what are your rights if a law enforcement robot and not a human cop knocks on your door just like the video we just saw?
Real quick, robots have already taken over your life. That's just another word. Robot's just another word for technology. You are on a technological device now. All your information comes through technological devices. Everybody you talk to is through a technological device. When you go to work, it's in a technological device. And at work, in your slavery, you're using technological devices. They've already taken over your life. So it's not, are they coming to take over? They've already taken over. We are already cyborgs. Everything we create, we integrate with ourselves. And eventually it'll be inside of our bodies. But the robots have already taken over. Everything that we know comes from software. They come from technology. They took over a long time ago.
Well,
so they're just taking the next step.
First, if I could, can we back up just a second and stop saying robot?
Okay.
I know we're saying, no, I mean, not that's what we call it. Robots don't bother me. Robots are great. Robots are terrific. Robots are robots.
They're tools.
Artificial intelligence, that's the story. And by the way, you notice how these things are made to look like dogs? You know they don't have to.
Oh.
These can be battering rams. These could actually be far better equipped to do a better job if they had multiple arms. But the reason why they're doing this is to habituate you and condition you through this wonderful world called the uncanny valley to let you know that this is just a little dog, Scotty. This is cool. This so isn't anything to be afraid of. Sophia, you know, the robot that's gonna look nice with a face and a smile and batting eyes. This is deliberate. So to your original question, this is merely an extension of the police. So if the police can't do something in person, they can't do something through the extension of a robot or whatever. But Scotty, here's what I'm afraid of. What happens when we then allow these to be programmed via artificial intelligence or artificial general intelligence, so that these are not sent in to get the bad guy? But Scotty, what if they're allowed to patrol, to pull people on their own, to learn the behaviors of certain people. Could they be profiling? Would certain ethnicities be more prone to being stopped? Or if you realize we've made a mistake, Scotty, can you bring them back? Artificial intelligence is basically programs itself. Robots are programmed by people, but AI is programmed by AI. It may not be able to be drawn back. The first thing they're going to do is replicate themselves. See, this is what nobody wants to talk about. People like Ben Goertzel and Ray Kurzweil, who make it sound so cool and neat, never talk about this runaway train called AI.
Well, and that's the thing, you think this looks very sci-fi. I know there's movies and books that have been written that exactly as you describe happening, and you go, that could never happen. But we look at the advances of technology, and it might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but for the next generation or 2 or 3 generations down the road, it could be truly believable. And the creators of the Spot robot want to make sure they won't be used to harm or intimidate people. However, the police are already starting to use them in dangerous situations. So how can we guarantee they physically will not attack someone either now or in the future?
Oh, I love when they say that our intention is that this never gets out of control. Remember one thing, another one of Lionel's laws, Scotty, if you're reading about it now, it's 5 years old. This is already old. They've already got this. This is already done. And by the way, Boston Dynamics, who owns that? Who bought that? Google Plus, Google, DARPA. I mean, this idea, keep in mind who these players are.
Heavenly Father, I'm about to do a Prince. We are gathered here to get this announcement, and I had no idea. Google bought Boston Dynamics. That was supposed to happen. That was supposed to Oh my gosh, we are so dead. We are also all gonna die. We all gonna die. So Google, the pharmaceutical company that has all of your data, privacy information on all of your devices, drives your cars, delivers your packages, gonna fly pizzas in. They now have killer robots. Oh, we're so gonna die. Oh, it's gonna be a funny death though. The extinction of our species is gonna be hilarious. We are done. I did not know that. I did not know that. So I know naysayers. I like it when naysayers come. No naysayers are coming. The Terminator is a spot in human history that we are going to. We can't stop merging with our technology, and as long as it's profitable, it's coming. I appreciate Lionel's perspective, and we've seen this before. We saw that with the police robot, where they used the AI to determine where to deploy police. Like, oh yeah, but that happened and it was racist. And yeah, I know, because we are a prejudiced society, and we're not going to make an AI. We're going to make a mentally ill AI just like us that does what we do, because there's a reason why we do it. The only difference is it's not going to have restraints. It's not going to be like a police who all of a sudden sees their kid or thinks about empathy or compassion. It's going to be an aggressive, powerful police state. This is why I really don't care who the president is. It's completely insignificant. They all believe in dominating and controlling us. That's why politics it's unimportant, because the heading is, it's investing in consent into our extinction, the extinction of our civilization.
And who these people are, but you ask a very good question, which is what I'm saying. Can we stop these? Can you basically take your, delete that app or say, all right, that's enough, cute little dog. Now you're going in and you're doing things on its own. What if this little cute dog right now, or whatever you think this thing is, on its own, Scotty, feels that that police or resources have not been used aggressively enough? Now, let me say that. What if this artificial intelligence, on its own, this FIDO spot, whatever you want to call it, decides that they have to up the notch? Not necessarily programmed to understand or appreciate the Constitution, Terry against Ohio, Fourth Amendment, things like that. How do we call them back? And what do we do after they've already replicated themselves through other means? That's the issue.
Well, and when they do something wrong, or if there is a malfunction, how do we hold them accountable? What, just take away their batteries?
Precisely.
That's
and who's liable?
Exactly, and who's the one that actually pulls them out? Thank you so much, Lionel, for giving us a little bit of peek into the future and our legal rights.
Question. Does a government that never respect your rights make robots that respect your rights? Does government that basically denies you your Bill of Rights around every corner, anytime there's a corporation needs to buy your rights, does it make robots that will respect your Bill of Rights or your Constitution? The answer is no. They don't give two damns, so who they create doesn't give two damns. Like one thing that she said earlier, I disagree with, says, well, you know, this is just, it's not cute. It's an arm of the police. No, it actually isn't the arm of the police. The police are an arm of the politicians. The politicians write the law. They're doing the legislation. The police have a job to do. They're going to do the job. The legislators are writing the law, and the corporation are buying the laws. And the corporations are beholden to these 100 families. This is an extension of the 100 families. That's why I don't, do politics. The politics is unimportant. Politics, it's like the mid-tier step in power and control. We are on a plantation. Those are going to be the ones that carry the whips. Google dogs, oh my. Yes, Rebecca, they're going to be a lot of fun. But we're going to get a lot of exercise. Don't be too obsessed, sis. We're going to get exercise. Google dogs. We're going to know how to run. We're all going to be in shape. That's going to be a wonderful thing. Nobody will be overweight. We're all going to be overweight and healthy, running from robotic dogs. Let me see. Investing consent into our extinction. Stop consenting to our extinction. You know someone's going to ride the dog robot. I wonder what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, Kimberly? It's going to shock him in the groin. That's what's going to happen. They get on the robot dog. It's going to be funny, right? Nope. I got the upgrade. Like I said, whatever they show you, they're many years ahead of. It's probably got a shock and that little clamp right there. Anybody who decides to get on top of that thing and it decides to grab you and lift you off, yep. Nick. Was that Mad Max? Was that Master Blaster who said break neck? That's an actuator arm. It'll probably crush your bone, just grabbing you to throw you off of it. If it doesn't have the shock feature or the skunk urine, or is it skunk spray from Israel? Let's see. Yes, Dobermans. I had a friendly one, but everyone was very afraid of her. Yep. And Jennifer, and even Dobermans, they have their limitations. Even Dobermans, they have their limitations of what they'll do. Robots they have a program. Their program is you will comply, and they will do whatever they need to do. Sarakana, come with me. That's the end of it. And Google knows where everybody's at. They know where you're at. They got the GPS tie-ins to your phone and everything. This is the problem with having massive, massive monopolies on every damn thing. And Google bought their pharmaceutical company now. This is going to get crazy. It's going to be interesting. But hey, let's keep voting for these people. Maybe not her, but I watched Terminator movies and think I have 10 years to prepare. Well, Susan, I hope you got 10 years to prepare. We don't know how much time this is. I think it's always about the currency. I think it's always about when the dollar is finally printed out. When the value is finally all printed out, then America has no real use anymore in terms of being looted. So either we'll agree to be their military and keep blowing up nations for the Koch brothers and Rothschilds and Rockefellers, or they'll just pull out and they'll collapse the currency and just release the robots and just make sure everyone stays in their house, obeys a curfew, and people starve in their house happily, as opposed to being in the streets and protesting what we consented to that we should have stopped doing decades ago. Dobermans are some nasty, nasty dogs, but they're beautiful dogs, beautiful dogs. We're going to be living in a bad kids movie where evil robots, dogs are taking over the human race. Well, we're already in a bad kids movie, Susan, where technology is taking over the human race and literally getting them to argue, fuss, and fight. Like you think about how these smartphones and the news can get people to get a divorce. Like people got divorced over the election. People still aren't talking to their brothers and their friends and their sisters and family over the election. They've completely broken us with these devices. Soon to see on Disney. Yep, hey hon, they're gonna have it on Disney. The kids playing with it. They're gonna make a furry one that purrs when you touch it. And because anything that, what's it called, anamorphing or something like that, you get people into it. And, oh, this is nice and friendly. We're a very gullible species. Atlantis. That's all I'm going to say. Atlantis. Always goes back to Atlantis. When you get a government that gets out of control, this will happen. Please put a link to the Google dogs I can't locate on RT. Absolutely. In fact, what I'll do, I'm a little slower to do this here. I'm gonna go ahead and post that for you now. I'm gonna post it on Facebook. It's there on the Facebook comments on the post from this morning. I gotta put the electric card there, and I'm gonna post it right here so I don't forget. I got a few things I gotta do. I ran late this morning, but I gotta put the electric card there, and I'm gonna post it 9 likes. Need more likes than that. I got a few things I gotta do. Need some more. If you have not subscribed, you need to subscribe. I gotta put the electric card there. Right there. Need more likes than that. I got a few things I gotta do. More. If you have not subscribed. All right, there you go. There's your link. We all gonna die. That's all. We all gonna. That's the whole point, Key. We all gonna die. The real question is, what do we hand to the next generation? Do we hand them robots that are policing them? Or are we handing them robots that are growing their food and 3D printing all their wants and wishes to make them pleasant people, instead of keeping them in conflict with each other and managed by robots? We have to get our own dog bot. Jennifer, you'll literally have your own dog bot. You don't have to worry about that. They're making them now. Every citizen's going to have their own dog bot. And in fact, you'll even get to name it, but it'll be centrally controlled. And the minute you got out of hand, like, it'll be the same thing. They monitor us with the cell phones. They're going to monitor us with these dogs. They're going to monitor us. And anytime that they need the police to hit the door, it'll be the robot police. They'll show up at the door. The robot dog you think is asleep is going to get up and go open the door, let him in. And they're going to monitor us with these things. And then they're going to write legislation to require everybody have a robot dog, if we're not all gone by then. I got unfriended by a beloved daughter-in-law for hating Hillary in 2016. Wow, back to being good now till Hillary comes back in 2020. But hey, hun, I'm okay with people's outrage. Like, I let my family, whoever be out, they can be outraged at me all they want. I'm not gonna change. I'm not changing nothing. That's on them. If people are okay with, like, slavery and war and blowing up other nations, and the people who do that, the psychopaths, they need to change, not you. It's not on you, it's on them. But I get it, for the sake of family, you're toning it down. I do that too. I do tone it down, but I don't change. If you ask me, I got the truth for you. Like, that's the only thing that'll set us free, is what's true. But, like, picking and choosing our psychopaths is a really, really bad idea. And I think the only way to get adults to go back to acting like adults is you gotta let them show that outrage and show them how ridiculous they are with the truth. Go on the Boston Dynamics site and see what type of military robots they have. It's insane. Megan, I don't think am I up to date? I thought I was up to date. I didn't know they were promoting anything military. Let me see, Boston Dynamics military robots. Oh, okay, the search came up. I didn't know they had military. Well, I see, let me show you what I'm looking at. I see the fake videos. These are fun, and they're fake videos. I posted the other day, and the person was like, "Oh, those are fake videos." And it's like, no, you don't understand how this works. These literally are videos of old technology. They're just not showing you the actual robots. They're showing you CGI, but this is very real functionality. DARPA, Boston Dynamics, U.S. military. You mean this one right here? Evolution of Boston Dynamics 2019. This is 3 years ago. 1 month ago, robot soldiers. I don't know. Is it this one? That's creepy. Oh, that is ugly. That is so ugly. I like the other robot dog. The other robot dog was a lot more cuddlier than that is. Oh my gosh, that's rough looking. That almost looks like a, ooh, what was that? Oh, right there. That almost looks like a beetle or something. It kind of looks like okra with legs, but it's black. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. I don't like that at all. Okay, they got the ones that crawl in your gutters. Yep, yep, saw that one. Is this the one that flips or something? Yeah, this is what the future's gonna look like. This is what we're gonna leave for our kids. Yeah, this is the one that flips off a roof. Yeah, jumps on the roof. Yeah. I remember this is the one that'll jump on your roof, look through your windows, see what you're doing. What are the other ones? Right, that's the big. Oh, okay, the military. Yeah, they're showing us the logistics. Well, now I know what you're talking about. They're showing us the mule, the big mule, and the logistics ones. These are ones that they'll carry like your packs and stuff, so the military doesn't have to carry the packs. I guess inside the continental United States, they'll carry the body bags, citizens that they shoot and just throw them on the dog, and it carries them. Yeah, but they're not going to show us the killer ones. Is it walking on ice? Navigated the ice better than I did. Shoot, they don't have a sciatica nerve, so walking. Oh, look at this! Walking over rubble. So like simulating blowing up a nation and stealing their resources and getting the robot drones to go walk over stuff they blow up. Yep. Oh, this is the one. Oh, this is the speed one, right? This is the one that goes fast, where it like jumps and I was gonna get like 30 miles an hour or something. Like you're gonna outrun that. The last thing you want to see is that coming down your street. That's just gonna be a bad day. or 20 of them. How would you like to see that like galloping down your street? Oh my God, yeah, yep, that's terrifying. How about impeach the robots? Okay, he's picking up speed, he's getting to go. This is one that goes, I think it's 30 miles an hour, isn't this the one? Look at that. You gonna outrun that? Really? What kind of cardio you got going on? Yeah, this is a bad idea. This is the one with the gyro on the top. And he even pushed him. Is that ice he's on? He almost slipped, got up, walks up hills, down hills. I'm gonna try to get away, gonna climb on this, climb on that. And they work together. And once they got to 5G, they can get them all swarming together so they can all take pictures of you, know where you're at. You hide here, hide there. They can use 5G going through the building to know exactly what bush you're behind. Yep, this is that's the big dog right there. That's the big one. Yep, this is the future. This is where we're going. Is this the one that does the flip? Oh, he's stretching. He's stretching. He getting ready to kill some humans now. He getting ready to eat somebody. Oh. Yeah. He's doing push-ups. He's just playing with you. He doesn't need to do none of that. Oh, they're going to put him in bodysuits like that. Imagine something like that. You don't even know it's a human. You would think it's a human walking down the street unless you saw, I guess, it moving. Ooh, isn't that creepy? Isn't that creepy? Oh, yeah, that's the Atlas. Hit him with a 20-pound ball and didn't fall over. Balancing abilities. The autonomous ones that don't have the strings. Yep, this is the future. Going out there walking on ice and snow through the woods. Yep, but see, these are old. Okay, I see that. But these are old. I gotta go. These are old. These are the old ones, right? So just put a little laser rifle in his hand, and this is the future. And we can vote. We consent to it. We're voting for it. We cheer for it. We're Amazoning for it. We're Googling for it, and it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. The Terminator is a real deal. Why? Because it's profitable. Bottom line, it's profitable and it's powerful. As long as it's profitable and it's powerful, it's a requirement that they do it. All right. Yeah, the pack mules. Yep, Megan, that's what we're talking about. Yep. If the military-industrial complex uses more robots than humans, they can get more consent for their wars. Right, and that's the other part of it, Megan, is they're selling it that, oh, well, the robots are going to fight the wars. And as long as you have robots, you can control what's said when the robots come back, or they just don't come back. But when the soldiers come back, they tell you that the wars are all lies and we're like doing things we shouldn't be doing. You know, the robot's not going to come home and say, hey, we're guarding poppy fields. It's not going to do that. We're selling drugs. I saw an airplane full of cash, and that's why they want the robots, and they want the people's consent. And the people are stupid enough to consent to it too, thinking the robots won't be used here and then it won't be broadcast into China or Russia or anywhere else what the government used the robots for against you. Not conspiracy, just economics. It's just economics. When you have a government that's designed for power and corporations that require money, they're going to do anything that the populace consents to, and we consent to it. All right, I'll get it going. Last couple comments so I can go. Let me see. They'll put the little miniature ones in the stores for Christmas, and our kids so as to acclimate it into your house as sweet little robots, and everybody will buy it. Yes, they will, hey hun, because it'll be a nice commercial with some like Christmas lights in the background, Christmas tree, family sitting around opening presents, and a little cute robot pops out, and everybody's gonna buy it, and later it's gonna choke us in our sleep, because that's just what oligarchies do. All right, there's a friendly robot on sale for about $50. He can speak almost all languages, speaks and can do math problems on paper. Yep, and it makes sense that people will buy it because it's a good idea to get robots to help you to do your homework, help you do your kids' homework so you don't have to. But that's a good point. That's why you won't stop it. Anything that makes life more convenient for people will pay for, they'll vote for, and they'll cheer for until it kills them. Because unfortunately, we're not wise anymore. We seem to be lacking the ability to look forward and critically think. So anyway, it's Gerard. I gotta get going. Listen, y'all have a great day. We need to stop investing in consent into the extinction of our civilization and the human race. That would be a wonderful, wonderful sign of sentience that we are not sure. Anyway, Gerard, I gotta go. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out of here. Love y'all now. Bye-bye.